Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And welcome to the first week of the Sweet 16 of the Mahou Shoujo Showdown. We have eliminated half of the magical girl shows in this tournament, and we are now moving on to our second round of judgment. We are doing categories again. We're going to be looking at some shows that we've already seen here. Is everyone excited, or are we feeling trepidatious? That's my word with the day calendar word.
Do you really have one of those?
No, I do not. Or maybe I do. Is this what I'm going to get for my birthday? Is everyone's just getting me a ton of words? You know what? I am going to be so loquacious by the end of the year. You have no idea. I'm hoping I'm using that word right.
I'll honestly say it did not feel like it took as long to do 8 episodes between just 4 shows.
I think, yeah, it's the start and stop of the episodes that kind of get a little like, oh my god, I'm watching so many things. We watched just as much as the last 4 weeks, technically.
I know.
But
it did not feel like it, though.
Yeah. Does anyone else feel like there was less whiplash going from show to show to show? Because we had to take in less information, I guess?
A little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe these weeks will get easier, or maybe they'll get harder. I have no idea. All right, and so we should talk about what we watched this week. So we watched the last 2 contenders from the dynamic duos and the locked and loaded categories. So this week we had Revolutionary Girl Utena versus the Demon Girl Next Door, and Magical Destroyers versus Granbelm. So I think we were all looking forward to this, right? I remember some people not liking some of these shows a lot.
You can at me, bro.
I'll at you, bro. Yeah. Okay, so, if we're all feeling good and ready to go, why don't we just get into it a little bit? So Revolutionary Girl Utena versus the Demon Girl Next Door. Why don't we talk? We're going to start with Revolutionary Girl Utena. Why don't we just talk a little bit about what happened? Because we watched the next 2 episodes. So we are getting to flesh out the cast a little bit. We're getting to see their situations here and there. We got another duel, actually a rematch duel between What's-His-Face from last time, who used to be big guy on campus champion dude, and then Utena was like, bitch, no.
I'm sorry, you pronounced your name wrong.
Sorry, Utah. Johnny Utah kicked this guy's ass. And then we get to meet another person, fuckboy class president, at a Bridgerton ball. I've never seen Bridgerton, but a Bridgerton ball where people's clothes are melting off. But it doesn't matter, because the one magical girl power that we all knew Utah had was to make a dress out of a tablecloth and have it look classy as fuck. Also,
it was a magic trick.
Exactly. Hey, magical girls, magical tricks. Johnny Utah, best magical girl.
That's just her Las Vegas stage name, excuse you?
No, it's Keanu Reeves from Point Break. We've covered this. I am not doing this again. Give me 2, Utah. Give me 2. You all need to see Point Break. You don't know the importance of the meatball subs and the lemonade. It's a delicious lemonade. Anyway. Yeah, magic dress and whatnot. Also, she's got a Yu-Gi-Oh situation going on. Like, at the last moment for a duel, she gets possessed by a better duelist?
The possession.
Yeah.
It was because she didn't want to fight.
Ah, so the true spirit of murder came out and took over. Gotcha. Did I miss anything?
That covers
Her and Anthony moved in together.
That's true.
Yep, and they were roommates.
Oh, and they were
What
roommates.
they say about lesbians on second dates.
Oh, they were roommates.
And there's a pet. Is that a mouse?
I think it's a mouse.
It's a monkey.
Monkey.
It is something.
It's a creature.
It is adorable.
It's a mascot.
It is a mascot. We finally got a mascot.
But it is adorable.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that covers everything, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to get into categories. We're going to be talking a little more in depth about a lot of elements here, because this is where we're actually really starting to judge these shows. It's not just about were we interested in your show. Now you got to impress us with what you're doing with the show. We have 5 categories that we're going to be covering for every show that we're watching. We're going to be covering plot. We're going to be covering characters. We're going to be covering world building, which replaces from the last tournament the product placement. And then we're kind of bringing it back from the Shonen Showdown, because these shows are a little more like the Shonen Showdown than they were the Collect 'em All tournament stuff. Production, obviously what that is. And our final thoughts was just our overall thoughts of yay or nay and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. Cece, we'll be starting with you. Why don't you tell us what you thought about these 2 episodes' plot?
So my notes for this show were very much like my notes from the previous weeks. And then after this show, I just wrote, like, almost nothing about any of the shows. For plot, there's a mean girl that's like, oh, Anthe, you should come to the ball. You're gonna be named prom queen. And I wrote down, Heather Chandler is going to carry this bitch. I'm not sure that the mean girl was entirely in on it, because she's like, you guys are ruining my dress. I let her borrow that dress.
No, it was her special fabric. She did it on purpose.
Yeah, it like
Yes.
melts when it gets sprayed by
she was trying to like
liquid.
embarrass her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was kind of like a Carrie humiliation situation.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I did say that. Am I cutting out again?
No.
Maybe you are, I don't know.
Heather Chandler is going to carry this bitch.
Oh, we thought you
Oh,
meant...
I thought you meant CARRY. I
Yeah,
was like,
we thought this was like your favorite character. She's gonna carry the show. I'm like, how do you not like
No.
Utah the best?
No. She's going to pull a carry on her. Okay.
Ah,
there
I
you
see.
go.
Isn't it funny how words mean 2 things?
English. I also wrote down, what makes Anthe special? Like, why is she the Rose Bride? Why does she have these powers?
Because
I'm
she
hoping we
does?
get some more info on this soon.
It comes at some point.
Yeah.
I should
I was
fucking
gonna
hope.
say the only answer we got for now is she asked Utena. She's like, "Well, why do you wear a boy's uniform? Because you want to." That essentially was what the answer I got from that little sentence that she sort of gave.
But it's not
Okay.
the boy's uniform. The boy's uniform doesn't have 2-inch inseam shorts. And
I
is
know.
also not black.
I know, but I feel like that was kind of like what she was getting at. You do that because you want to, and I guess that's why she wants to. I don't know.
That's why she has
I
powers.
forget what the answer for this question is, but we get it eventually.
It's such a like lore deep answer that it's like
I feel like it should go in world building.
it's like almost like world building answer.
It feels like, yes, plot, but let's like, this is a much deeper thing, perhaps.
It's
Yeah.
kind of strange.
There are
yeah.
holes that I'm hoping will be filled eventually. I'm sure they will. I have faith. But there are holes at this point. And I really love that Utena is still fighting for her. Protect your wife from the student council.
Good advice.
So I was kind of like going beat by beat, at least for plot, trying to kind of pick it apart. There's a moment in the second episode where she notices the red-haired guy has the same signet ring with the rose. And she's like, wait, why do you have that? And I'm like, how would she only be noticing that now? When there was the whole spiel in the first episode that her having that ring and Sayonji, the green-haired guy, having the ring is what made them able to duel. The fact that she doesn't really want or sit Anthe down for like a super in-depth explanation about what's going on is really weird. Like, I don't know, like what Anthe gave her, I feel like is not something I would accept if I were in the similar situation. I would be like, that's kind of a nothing burger answer. I'm gonna need some more to go off of here. In episode 2, they make a really big point of Utena's in a single dorm, and that's what makes it shocking that she arrives and she's dorming with Anthe. But then in episode 3, the same friend who was making such a big deal that she was jealous Utena got a single dorm is like, oh yeah, so who did you end up getting as a roommate? Because you were getting a roommate, even though in the second episode she was like, but you're gonna be in a single dorm.
Maybe that was
so like consistency, please.
I think that was maybe that was a thing with the dub.
Maybe.
Maybe it was she meant about like housemates. Because there's supposed to be
That's-
like multiple
yeah.
dorms in the house.
No, she said like, who are you rooming with? Like, who did you get assigned to room with?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it could have been like a dubbing consistency thing, but like in terms of plot, it's a consistency thing. So like that's definitely something that should have been caught. But overall, I feel like the pacing in the plot is just a little slow right now. Like it doesn't feel like we're going places. That's all I got.
Let's see what I got for my notes. I think the plot is starting to go a little bit more. We got the rematch with the dude from last time. Utah and Anthe move in together. I think I agree it's a bit slow, but the melodrama that I enjoyed from the first episode is still there, so I am enjoying that. And it also feels like we're starting to see a little bit more stakes. We're getting a couple more... I don't want to call them villains because I don't know fully. I think the one guy is a villain. He's a dick. A complete ass. I don't know everybody else's motivation right away yet, so I'm gonna say, yeah, antagonist as opposed to villain. The younger sister of red hair guy is a bit of a villain, though, and it's... How many times has it come up in this tournament already that we got a little sister thing going on? It's just like, not my favorite trope, but...
Yeah, save it. I brought that up in character.
Okay, yeah. But I do like that now that we're seeing more antagonists and other people involved we're growing the cast a little bit, we are starting to see maybe a little bit more stakes here and there. The possession thing, I don't understand, but like that was kind of interesting. I wasn't sure whether this was part of like the actual show or whether it was like a censorship thing. The Rose thing covered her. It felt very like added in post kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did anyone else feel that?
No, that's
because
a
I
thing.
think he's naked.
Because I was wondering, because I know some countries have like certain laws against showing any kind of like spiritual or any kind of like possession on television, that you can't do that. And I don't know if that was an attempt to censor some stuff.
Like, Utena, when it comes to like spiritual stuff, they do a lot of it like naked with no genitals type thing.
Okay. All right. Maybe, so you think maybe it was just a censorship for the dub?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No?
Same with the sub.
Same thing. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the sub is on YouTube. That's where I watched it first.
Okay.
It's same exact thing.
Okay, so consistency. That is a good thing to have consistency. Yeah, but overall, like, it is slow, but what I'm still seeing, I'm still enjoying enough, and I am seeing the rumblings of higher stakes and potential conflict and drama as we go. So overall here, I think for the plot, I'm a light yay on this.
I would say, yeah, the plot was pretty solid to me. It definitely feels like a lot of setup right now, which is why it's ringing a little bit slow to me. But I still wasn't bored at any point. I feel like it was a pretty good pace overall. And I think it had a good balance between feeling kind of episodic and having like an overarching plot that it is setting up, you know, especially with like the weird end of the world revolution stuff with the council and whatever is going on with Anthe that we don't really know yet. But I think they're giving us just enough to like keep us interested in that. I do agree that Utena is strangely just like along for the ride and like does not give a damn about whatever's going on. But I don't know. I guess like that's it is a little weird that she doesn't have more questions. But she also had the thing with the prince in the beginning. Maybe she's used to kind of weird things happening. But I felt like I liked the drama, like the relationship drama. It felt like, I don't know, high school like melodrama show meets like magical girl stuff, which is kind of fun. You know, like the stuff with the evil sister or whatever was enjoyable. And the guy who's like weirdly infatuated with Utena, I think adds like more plot elements. Like I think the characters are really what's driving the plot right now. So I guess like it's hard to talk about the plot separate from the characters, but I still think it's pretty good that way. So yeah, I think it's setting up like a pretty memorable type of story, and so far it's been pretty good with setup. So I liked these 2 episodes.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of things that have been said so far. Harkening back to what Yin just said, yeah, this is definitely, these 2 episodes are a lot more set up as far as like more world building things, but also like more characters, because there are lots of, I guess you could say, duelist players pieces in this chess game, what have you. And it's just, there's a lot of establishing that really needs done, and sort of a way to kind of establish their characters is sort of to like take it a bit slower in order to like maybe kind of like really hone in on their personalities. But I really enjoyed these episodes so far, just, you know, because they give us more characters with some drama, a little bit of tension, some stakes, and kind of like exploring a lot more of the elements of, you know, what are to be expected.
I really don't know what much more to add. I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't mind the pacing. I thought everything was fine. There were some things that kind of irritated me, but it was mainly for, you know, characters, which we'll get into next. But it does, you know, build on what happened in the first episode, and then it, you know, it keeps adding on to what was established in episode 1. So I guess the first 3 episodes, we don't see her really transform into a magical girl that much until the very end, but I guess but otherwise it's fine, I guess, for right now.
Okay, well, why don't we talk characters a little bit, since it seems to be a far more character-driven series of episodes. Cozy, I think you're leading us off on that. Why don't you start?
My first note was, why is every man so ugh?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to finish that with Lee, like ugly, but I guess they're not.
They do.
You know what? I'll wait until I get to my part.
Okay.
They do all have a serious case of Dorito chin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
also thinking that.
Is this that other anime?
Me
Is
too.
this that
Yeah,
handsome anime that I've been told so much about?
I did almost make that joke to Cece while we were watching it, especially with the red-haired one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got that look.
You look at him straight on, like when he was standing next to his sister, it's like, oh my god, that chin could cut diamonds.
Yes.
It could.
Character design, I think they have very, not iconic, I'm struggling with my brain to think of correct words right now.
Distinct?
Distinct. Thank you, Chibi.
Yes.
It's very distinct and like themed, but the designs are not like my favorite. Like Utena's magical girl outfit just adds like some ruffles and epaulets. My favorite characters so far have actually just been the News Club, I think. They're so funny. I love when they're on screen. It just adds like a nice dash of humor to the situation. I also like that they show that, yes, the girls in school are all boy crazed, but they are also crazy about Utena and basically in love with her.
Who wouldn't be?
Something we never thought we'd say. We love Utah here.
We love Johnny Utah. That's an easy thing to say.
The brother complex, I also put, I'm so sick of seeing it, especially when it's like a little sister, like super into her older brother, to the point she's like a really weird mother-in-law, you know?
Mm.
Like, you can't have him because he's mine. It's just, it's weird, and it's like the Japan is fetishizing, like, siblings again. Where, like, someone called a retirement home on Japan, they're being senile. I do really like how they're characterizing Anthe and her trauma, because like she's letting people walk all over her, she's letting herself be a doormat, and she thinks she deserves it because she's already been abused, which is like really realistic, and I feel like Yin might be able to like speak on that a bit more. The only other thing I have to say in terms of characterization is that Utena feels very like they are telling us one thing with like her external monologues, but like her actions are showing something completely different, and it's giving like a really conflicting sense of character. Like we have her showing that she's willing to defend people and she's like overall a good person, but then it goes out of its way to try and like tell you, oh no, I don't care what happens to you, Anthe. We're like, that's not really the characterization we're being shown through her actions, which is just a little weird. Other than that, like, I'd give it a light yay.
I'm almost kind of wondering Because I agree with some of the things you're saying. I did not think about that when I was looking at Anthe as much. I was kind of mostly looking at like the opposites attract coupling thing that was kind of going on with like her and Utena and that. I do like that. The very like extroverted one with the very introverted one. Always a fan. I am been kind of thinking how we've been talking about Utah a little bit. On some level, she is kind of like your traditional shonen protagonist a little bit. Like, we've been talking about not really asking questions, just kind of going with the flow. Oh, I'm not actually interested. It's kind of whatever. Just going about your day sort of thing. I'm like, yeah, that's a bit of a Goku mentality. Is anyone else feeling that, or is it just me right now?
Yeah, but Goku would never be like, I don't really care what happens to you.
That's also true. So I don't know if maybe, are they trying to like combine that sort of like you've seen this before kind of thing, but maybe with a bit of tsundere that's not really working?
And maybe this is just me, I kind of interpreted it as more, she took on Saionji because to defend her friend's honor. And then she's like, she doesn't understand what this has to do with her.
Yeah.
Is more what the mentality is to me. She's like, yeah, I saved you and now we're engaged. I don't understand what's going on.
Like, I did not consent to this.
Yeah.
And furthermore, she's like, yes, but I'm the Rose Bride and therefore we are engaged because you won. And she's like, I didn't sign up for this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That is the vibe I am getting from this.
I don't think she knows how serious it is.
Oh no, she does not. And to be fair, Anthe's not helping to let her know how serious this is.
I think she doesn't know like the full situation.
I do agree with what you're kind of bringing up, but she's also like, she knows that throwing the fight would mean Anthe goes back to Saionji.
Yeah.
And she's okay with that outcome, which, or at least she says she's okay, which I feel like conflicts with what we've already been shown about her character.
No, I get that.
Maybe
I get
a
that.
bit.
I guess it was just like various parts of, and I'm not sure if maybe this is a dubbing thing, if maybe some of it's getting a little confused.
Maybe, it's possible.
But that was just for like different pieces. Like sometimes it's like she doesn't understand, but she knows sort of the consequences, but she still seems confused, so maybe she's not thinking it through. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's not my part.
I think it kind of goes into like the element of like this is a reluctant hero sort of thing going on. Yes, you jumped in because you saw something bad that was happening and you're like, I need to do some kind of action. And you were thinking that you were done at that point. But no, you've now put yourself into a much larger conflict.
Yeah. I have a bit of an opinion on it, but I'll wait.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so I think she's like, and I understand the element of like not wanting to be involved in this. This seems way more than I signed up for. I don't want to be here. But at the same time, yeah, I think in the back of her mind, she does know if I do this thing that I maybe want to do, it's not just going to be consequences. For me, it's consequences for other people. And I think she is having a bit of like a conflict here of like, what do I want versus what needs to be done? Which, I mean, how long is this? Is this a 39 or a longer
39.
episode? 39? Okay. So there's a little bit, this is going to have like a good amount of time to actually like really go into her character, I think, if you know, we ended up watching the whole thing. So I'm kind of okay with that for now, because I feel like to some degree, every protagonist is a little like a touch wishy-washy at first, whenever you first get into stuff. Like, I feel like there's very few times you have like a totally gung-ho protagonist who doesn't have a moment of doubt. You know what I mean? I think this is just kind of her moment of doubt that we're kind of like in. And like, if this moves on and we see like episodes afterwards, I'm imagining she's going to have a larger moment of like full commitment to what's going on. Probably after we find out what the actual stakes are. But, you know, we'll leave that to world building at some point. We got the mascot. I at first did not like the mascot. I was like, this is going to be an annoying character, but damn, he grew on me. So points to you for that. Let's see here. I like that we're taking a little bit of time to flesh out the villains, but it's not that much yet. But I see the potential here. So overall, I think we still have an interesting protagonist. I think we have a growingly interesting. What would you say, Anthony? Is a deuteragonist?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, some possibilities here. I don't think I got as much as I wanted, but I got a good amount. So I'm going to say a light yay for characters for me.
I really like the characters in this, but I think a lot of what I like comes later, so it's kind of hard to talk about just these two. So my opinion might be a little bit different if it moves forward than it is right now. I think right now, I do feel like some of the confusion with Utena's
You mean Utah?
Whatever. Utena's personality a little bit. At the same time, I think like a lot of it is because of like she has this goal to find the prince, and she like feels like that is like what she is working towards in life, but she also wants to be the prince. And I think she has that like dichotomy of character where she is this person who like wants to find like this sort of soulmate that she knew from way back when, but at the same time she like wants to protect these other people, and like she wants to kind of be him but also be with him, you know? And it's like,
we've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there, but I think like that is part of what makes her an interesting character. But sometimes, yeah, her goals can seem like unaligned in a way, and I think it is because she has like a very much of a dichotomy in her personality a little bit in her goals. But I find her to be an engaging character. You know, I like that they like go through her motivations pretty clearly. And I think she's an interesting character to follow. She's definitely like a cool character to watch. So even though she seems a little conflicting right now, I think it like fleshes itself out later. And I think it makes for an interesting dichotomy in her personality, that she like has her like one singular goal, but also like wants to help other people and like be that person for other people that the prince was for her, you know? But she also wants to find the prince. So I think like it makes her more of an interesting character in that way. But at the same time, it is like, why would she want to leave Anthe with this guy? You know, like who in their right mind would want to do that just so that she can be out of the duels? So it almost is like, what? But at the same time, like, I don't know. It was kind of weird, but at the same time, I still enjoy watching her, I guess. Anthe, I really like a lot. I think she is like a sympathetic character right now. Definitely there is the element of like, she's the damsel in distress that Utena has to save right now, which like, but at the same time, I think, but I can't really go into stuff that comes later, which is the sad part, because like, Anthe is such a great character. I think right now you don't see like as much of like who she really is, but like, I don't know. I think she's still like a likable character right now, but I think a lot of what we see at the moment is that she's somebody who's really struggling and has a lot of trauma and kind of needs to be saved a lot. But I do think a lot of that gets like fleshed out later, but unfortunately I can't talk about that. But I love her, and she's a very interesting character. And I agree with what Kozi said about like her responses to trauma and everything. Her relationship with Utena, you can already kind of see it forming a little bit. Like Anthe like is a very isolated person right now, but her relationship with Utena like is slowly growing. And you can see like Utena trying to push her to like have relationships with other people and like, you know, be connected with others, because all she has right now is her weird little mouse, whatever you want to call it, thing. But I think like you can tell that Utena really wants her to like be with other people more, but Anthe like clearly has her own, I don't know, like focus, which is just being the Rose Bride. Like she seems pretty consumed with that right now. And it seems like, you know, depending on who's the suitor, like her kind of everything shifts to like whoever they are, which is pretty weird and not really explained right now. And then the side characters, most of them are like kind of assholes or whatever, but they're fun assholes to watch. I think the addition of the redhead guy adds some plot, although he's annoying and does look like a Dorito. The little annoying sister, like, yeah, I don't really like the weird ciscon trope either, but at least she's like a bad character. I don't know. At least it's like portrayed in a negative light, I guess. I don't know.
That's
like,
true.
At least she's irritating, so it's like I can stand it, I guess.
The rare moment it's showed in a negative light.
Yeah, at least it's not in a like she's cute kind of light. Like we're supposed to hate her, I think.
Yeah.
So I
she
can
gives
accept.
a real wahaha vibe.
Yeah, she's got like a very villainous vibe to her.
Okay, but that's fun. I love a Mahou.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, especially because the show is so like all the characters are really exaggerated.
This is a soap opera still.
Yeah. Like how like those guys repeat their same chant every time they go up in that damn elevator
Oh,
in the council. It's just so like over the top. But I love it, you know. I think it adds like some fun personality to the show. So I would give the characters a yay. I really enjoy it.
I think you may have a point, and this might have been why I liked Utah so much. I think I'm identifying with what you're saying of like, oh, you want to be someone, but also want to be with someone. It's like, do I want to be Henry Cavill? Do I want to be with Henry Cavill? Like, both, really.
Yeah, it's usually both.
Yeah. Chibi, go ahead. I'm sorry I derailed that for a minute. I'm just going to think about Henry Cavill for a minute.
So, I like the characters with this. Again, I think, like, I don't really have a whole lot to add, aside from, like, the thing about inconsistency in characterization, honestly, and I guess it's, like, a dichotomy of personality. Like, inconsistencies, I tend to find they kind of more humanize a character than anything else. Not to say that, like, not thinking about things and like not really thinking about the consequences like is like okay, but it's just kind of like it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, would this be something a normal person might do? Maybe, but I don't know. I find like all the over the topness like pretty fun. Honestly, our like cast of antagonists in the student council, like they're all like very, very crazy, but it's kind of part of the reason why I find them to be so interesting. Choo Choo's cute. I don't really need to say much about Anthe and Utena because I think that's already pretty much been touched upon. Nanami's a little shit. God, I really like. She's the kind of character that you love to hate, just because of how nasty she can be. Like they make her seem a bit more sympathetic later on, but it does. She's not a sympathetic character to me. Like even after that part, but. Or maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. I just remember not really caring for her all that much. But yeah, characters are a yay.
It's kind of a mixed bag for me. I do like Utah, although I do agree that her wanting to throw the fight was a little jarring at first because, yeah, that does mean that Anthe would go back to her abuser, but I think she kind of realized that during their rematch. It was like, shit, I can't actually let her go back to her abuser. I actually need to take this seriously. Anthe, I imagine she gets a lot more development right now, but at least for these 3 episodes, she just kind of, I gotta do my job, I gotta do my role, I gotta basically be the Rose Bride or whatever it's called, and you know, I basically, I'll dote on you the entire time, and Utena's like, get a life, do something. Do you have any other friends besides the mouse?
It's called the fawn response.
Yeah. Choo Choo's the cute mascot character. You either like cute mascot characters or you don't. I don't mind Choo Choo. The student council president is interesting because I think he could either be a villain or he could be an antagonist where he respects Utena and she respects him, but I can imagine later on she's gonna have to fight him in some way. So I don't know if he's gonna be a full-on villain or not.
Ooh, a rivalry. That could be fun.
Yeah. His little sisters, we already talked about how she's got the brother complex. I don't like the brother complex. I do kind of like, I forget her name, Utena's other friend that constantly tries to hit on her. She's kind of crazy, but in a good way to me. I didn't mind her. So I guess I give the characters a light yay.
My notes say, "Oh God, not incest siblings."
Only one. Only one. So far, the president doesn't seem interested. Thank God.
I can't wait to see Anthe like come more into her own and be less of like a servant. Because I do see that character development happening. We're not there yet. And I love that Utena was like, I don't want a wife, I want a normal boyfriend. And then a guy was like, hey, and she was just like, ugh, stop talking.
She's gonna realize she's gay, right? Like, what's...
Eventually, yes.
Okay, cool.
Takes a while.
This is just one of those things of like, I know you're not supposed to tell people that they're in the closet, but it's like one of those things of like, this is so obvious that you are not into dudes and you keep saying you're into dudes.
Yeah, I had a similar predicament a few weeks back. A real, oh God, you're the main character in Fight Club. Please just realize you're bisexual. Yeah, that's all I have.
That's everyone, right?
Okay, so yeah.
World building. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually the only part of the show that I think I did not get a lot from this episode. I think we kind of covered it a little bit. It's a lot of rehashing of the stuff that we already kind of heard vaguely in the first episode, and we're just getting more vagueness and vague concepts. Like, they keep repeating the lore, so the lore is not, like, going away. It's just not being explained in any satisfying way. So, I'm really a meh here. The reason I'm not a nay is because with the repeating of it and the fact that the duels are still going on and there's now some political intrigue going on. Okay, are we gonna like try to like go about this whole war for the Rose Bride thing in different ways? I'm seeing some possible interesting things, but it's not actually giving me any substance. I'm getting a lot of sizzle. There's not a lot of substance, but the sizzle is making me like anticipate the possibility. So I'm not a full nay, I'm just a meh right now. I would like them to do better if this moves on. But again, this feels like it's going to be a slow burn show. And I also understand, like, these episodes were a lot more character driven, so you're not going to have a lot of time for lore dumping. But a little bit, Anthe, you could answer a question. Just a little bit. But okay, whatever.
So yeah, I agree. There's not much world building, or at least not much new information in these episodes. I don't think these episodes really needed much world building because I think they are mostly about the characters and the setup. And I think they still want a lot of like the reasons behind like the duels and the Rose Bride and everything to still be a mystery. And I feel like they are a mystery for a very long time. I feel like that's just how the show is. And it would ruin a lot to give it away early because there are twists. So I think it's fine that there's not many questions answered. And I think it also makes it more interesting because it makes you wonder what the heck is going on because everything is very strange. And it makes it almost more fantastical and dreamlike to me, which I like because it is a very strange scenario. I think it fits the vibe of the show to not have huge lore dumps. And I kind of like that about it. I don't really like shows that have big lore dumps. Kind of annoys me. So I like being spoon-fed things. It makes me happy. But still, since the category is world building and there's not a lot of it, even though I feel like it does fit the show to not have a lot of it, I guess like I'd have to go like meh to light yay because like, I don't know. It just doesn't have much of it, but I don't think it's a problem for the show.
I don't need like a whole episode lore dump. I'm fine with spoon feeding, like you were saying, but I don't feel like we got spoons for 2 episodes.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that was the purpose of these episodes, you know?
Fair.
And some shows are just that way, you know?
But yeah.
I mean, and maybe there are parts from the first episode that maybe I didn't remember whether or not they were in there, but when Utena asks Anthe to explain what was up with like the staircase and the upside down castle, and Anthe just answers, mysteries! I'm like, yeah, that pretty much sums that up. Because I'm like, yeah, mysteries. I don't really think there's any other way to say that. We got like little tidbits and bits and pieces there about like all the student council have rings. They also get letters from End of the World. So that sets Utena apart from the rest of them. And like all of the duelists are thereafter the power to revolutionize the world. What the hell that means, we'll wait and see. They established the rule that if Utena doesn't follow the rules of dueling, so if someone challenges her and she doesn't accept the challenge, she'll get expelled. So that's a thing.
I feel like we might have talked about this in other anime, but is it just me or do student councils feel like they have so much more administrative power than any real world one would have?
Very powerful.
Like,
in anime.
Yeah, if you don't do what we say, we can have you kicked out of school. I'm like, the fuck you can? What?
Sometimes they're straight up like, we can have your parents executed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, please continue.
And then we got the little bits with Dios. Dios, who is the person who came down from the castle, who looks sort of like the prince from her flashback sequence in the beginning. So there's a little bit of world building for that. because he is also the one that gave her the ring. So there are connections. So it's like bits and pieces and threads are being connected. And I think going really slow with this is good because, one, it enhances the mysteries. But two, I don't really think like giving us all of the information all at once would be good for this kind of show because it wouldn't be the same sort of show, if that makes sense. So I give the world building a light yay.
Can I ask, moving forward, because I feel like they're going to be there, the spirit that possessed Utah, can we call them Yami Utah? Just because I need a Yu-Gi-Oh reference every now and then.
Oh my god.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle where I understand, you want to build up the mystery. You don't want to explain everything all at once, but I would kind of like to know a little bit, the mystery of the Rose Bride and why the student council is kind of expecting this salvation or whatever. But at the same time, I understand, they don't want to spread it all at once. They want to, spoon feed you a little bit at a time. It didn't bother me that much. I think it was just more of a little bit of repetition, like a few things that were repeated. So I guess I give the world building like a meh overall.
I don't know why I put this in world building, but Utena wears her uniform under her gown. Does she wear it under everything?
Yeah. She's always ready.
It's just, how did it work? Because she had sleeves, but no sleeves on the gown.
Yeah.
I think they were
Yeah.
gloves.
Oh.
Like
She
that-
had gloves?
I think they were like gloves.
But no, the
opposed to-
jacket like goes all the way up her neck. I'm sorry. Like there's no
Oh,
way.
no,
it
no,
was
no,
like-
no, no,
No,
no. So the
no.
gown was like a strapless thing and all that? Okay, so here's the thing. One, you can wear the shorts and the boots under the dress. No one's going to notice. Easy. But what you don't realize is that it's so poofy and whatnot, you have a hanger between your butt cheeks and you can hang your jacket from it.
I guess so.
You just
And
tie
then-
your jacket around your waist.
Exactly.
Dude.
No. You can't tie your jacket around your waist. You're gonna get creases. She looks clean and fit the whole time. That thing is pressed and ready to go. It was hanging from a hanger between her butt cheeks, and then she threw off the dress, and while it was flying through the air, she threw on the jacket.
Okay.
So
She got the speed.
I
She got the hops.
appreciate
She got it.
I appreciate how silly that answer was, but I'm gonna be honest. I think it's just the hero personality taking over, and she did her magical girl transformation.
Probably.
I like my
yeah,
butt cheek
because
theory
it was her
better.
magical girl outfit.
Oh. My only question is, why couldn't she give Anthe the dress she was wearing before instead of the tablecloth?
Because she
Yeah,
had to
that's what I
dramatically
was
tear it
wondering.
off.
I don't get it.
I think they probably wanted to do the flourish with the tablecloth instead.
I guess.
Yeah.
It was a good
It
flourish.
just
I
makes
mean,
more sense the other way.
nothing will ever beat the Grinch doing the tablecloth flourish, but this is a decent one.
My other note was, the rat monkey thing is dead. They show its corpse spinning on the record player like 4 different times.
Why do I
It
feel like
goes,
he's gonna
"Oh,
die
he's
every
dead."
episode?
I mean, the green-haired guy did kind of stomp on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, Kenny.
He's Kenny. Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
That's all I have.
So I get where everyone's coming from in terms of saying like the world building isn't great in this episode. I did actually note down like similar thoughts, but I've had more time to kind of marinate on it since we've watched this. And to that, I'm gonna say, yeah, we're not getting world building in terms of like advancing the plot, but this is essentially like the Star Wars prequels. We are seeing a lot of how the world interacts with the characters versus how the characters are impacting the world. So, like, we got a lot established in terms of the school and school life and what that looks like and how it differs between Anthe and Utah. We got more world building on potential, like, motivations that's driving, like, the student councils and the duels, and, like, a hinting at something larger going on. So I think, overall, it's just like really small world building stuff that not a lot of people necessarily care for, which is why the prequels are unfairly judged in Star Wars. But it's still good world building, and people can fight me because I'll die on that hill. So I'm like overall yay on world building.
Can I say that People also kind of hate on the prequels because the dialogue's shit.
The concepts were good, though.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
it's fantastic
I think the
concept.
concepts, a lot of them were better than the original
Yeah,
movies.
I actually like Old Republic better than
yeah,
New Republic
but the
and Empire era,
dialogue
but
brought it down.
it's still George Lucas being sand.
But the world building's actually really good.
Yeah,
in
it
prequels.
is. I have a question, and this is just
George
me
Lucas
having...
doesn't know how to write.
No,
No,
he doesn't.
no.
He's a fantastic world builder, but God, he needs to leave
Yeah.
the dialogue and the direction to other people.
It's like he can plot and world build, but
yeah, he's a big picture guy.
The dialogue's bad.
I have to, because I occasionally have those moments where I'm like, okay, I think I might have figured out the plot a little bit. Based on the ED and some other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
was Utah the Rose Bride in a previous life to that prince? And okay,
No.
never mind.
Was no.
I'm
No.
like, that she wanted to be and was reborn, and like, just let me cook for a minute.
No.
Okay,
And then
you're
maybe the
going
prince
down
was
the
like, you
wrong
know what?
path.
I would love to be the Rose Bride. And then he's Anthe.
Not even close.
All right. I'm actually kind of glad about that, because thinking about it, I'm like, that's a bad plot.
You're on a different planet in a separate solar system.
Hey, that's why I don't write
You
anime.
made your own anime.
Oh, it would be so bad. It would be so bad. You've seen it. It's called Madoka Magically Abridged. Go check it out. Anyway, is that everyone, or are we moving on to production?
Yes.
All right.
That's everyone.
Yin, I think you're up.
All right, so for production, yes, we talked about the Dorito chins and some of the weird quirks about the animation. But I will say, I think this animation overall is really good. And I think the designs, I think we mentioned like distinct earlier, but they really do give you an idea of like these characters. And I feel like all of them, even though they all have pointy chins and stuff, they all look very like different enough from each other. I think the little like gossip sequences are so iconic and look really cool. I think the weird staircase parts and everything, really good design there too. So I don't know, I really love the animation and production design here. I like the weird music that comes on when she goes up the stairs. It's just so
The battle theme song.
strange battle theme. So yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever about the production. I have always really liked how this anime looks and sounds and everything. The dub, I don't know. I guess I could take it or leave it. I don't really care for it, I guess. I prefer the sub for sure. But like, it didn't bother me per se. So I'm gonna give the production a yay.
I know I complained about the dub last week, but it is growing on me. I also agree with Ian that I really love this art style and the character designs for this. I'm not usually one for animes where most of the character is leg, but for this one, I guess it works. And yeah, I enjoy the music. The music's real fun. The one song that they use for when she's going up the stairs that is also now her magical girl transformation sequence music, because she was transforming while going up the stairs. That's always an interesting piece to hear. And the music that they usually play for the duels, I don't know if it's like the same song.
It was the same animation.
No, like when they're in the middle of the duel. But I don't know, the songs are always interesting. Sometimes I don't watch the duel and I just read the lyrics as they're going across the screen, because I'm like, what are they singing about? Right now we're talking about all of the eras of the earth, and then a lot of like ancient species of animals and bacterium that existed like way back when, because they're singing about ammonites and other things, which I find to be like a silly, funny touch. I'm sure there's like a deeper meaning to it, but yeah, sorry, this went a little long, but production, I give it a A.
I'm kind of mixed on the production. Like, there's some characters I think look good, like Utah and Anthe and Choo-Choo. But then, I forget who said it earlier. I think it was Kozi. The boys are ugh. Yeah, the boys, the boys aren't that appealing to me. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they look ugly on purpose because they got ugly personalities. And then
Wow.
the prince, and then the prince will be like handsome Squidward. Will be beautiful. But and I know this was animated in the mid or late 90s, and sometimes I think it shows its age, but then there's sometimes I think it looks good despite its age. So, and I do like the music, and I don't mind the dubbing. I actually don't. I think the dubbing is fine. So, I guess overall, I'm a light yay on production.
For production, I wrote down, someone is spamming the crossfade button. The editors must have been drinking and smoking because it is crossfaded AF. I really did not like that one sequence with just like the two sides of the screens fading in and out. That was so much. So it's a meh on production for me.
I gotta say, I do love the art style. I do love the animation. And I gave it major props for the first episode with the animation of like the arena appearing and the fight. But I have to dock it for it this time because they just copy fucking pasted it. And like to be like halfway through the second episode and a huge chunk of your animation is just rehashed from the very first episode isn't a great sign. And then they were still reusing some animations in episode 3 as well. So like overall production quality isn't that great, I feel like. Also, like the dub itself, I feel like the woman who voices Utah is like doing all of the background girls as well. And like she's trying to put on different voices, but like it's so obviously her. And like that's obviously a failing of the dub here, like limitations of localization and all of that. But it does kind of take away from it, I feel like. So I'm like a nay on production.
I don't know what you're talking about. The art, stunning. The style, beautiful. Animation, really solid whenever they start hitting that action. I am never going to fault an anime for reusing a transformation sequence. If we do that, we have to knock on all anime, because every anime does it. It's standard. Music is fantastic. The dub's starting to get a little annoying, but not enough for me to dock a whole lot of points. The opening, fantastic. The ED, fantastic. It's a full yay.
I love the energy.
Okay.
That's everyone.
The fight was
sorry,
reused.
real quick, Kozi, to borrow your phrase, this show is fashion.
Fashion.
It is
Oh.
fashion.
Oh, I'm bringing that up at some point
Yeah,
later.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I wrote it down too.
I'm sorry, what are we bringing up? Did I do something?
No,
it's in Granbelm.
film.
So
yes,
you have
that.
a while to get to it.
Yes.
I think that was everybody. What are we at? Final thoughts? Is that Chibi first?
Yeah, that is me.
All right, hit it up.
Final thoughts so far from these 2 episodes. I'm going to include the first one as well because, like, this is all of what we've watched for this so far. I will say I am intrigued. If an anime is very vague with what's going on, but still has me hooked, cool. And just like overall, the general vibe is something I like, and that's more of a personal preference. But yeah, I would give this a yay.
I'd be interested to see at least the end of this arc, because I know there's like 3 main arcs to this show, and I think this one's called the Student Council arc, so I'd be interested to at very least see the first arc of the show, what happens to that. But it wasn't something that I'm going to make me go out of my way right now and binge either, so I think it's kind of like a light yay for final thoughts.
I wrote, Anthony's dress is hideous, but she makes it look so pretty. I feel like Utena's dress is supposed to look ridiculous, but that is exactly my type of dress. Like, full skirt, all the ruffles. I love it. I would wear that so fast. This is a yay for me.
We gonna put together a cosplay group for this? I will be Dorito Chin. I will find like a knee pad that I can like
Oh my god.
make
a
face like
Dorito
make it into my chin.
It'd be beautiful. The only thing I put for final thought is lesbiabs.
Yay. Yay.
I think this is a solid continuation from the first episode. We're getting to know the characters a little bit better, which will hopefully heighten the stakes as the duels continue, and the duels are definitely going to continue. I don't think it improved a ton over the first episode, but it stayed consistently good, and it shows a lot of potential moving forward. So overall, I'm a light yay.
I love how the characters are progressing and seeing their relationships. I love the aesthetic of this show. First 3 episodes still have me engaged. I like the mystery. I like wondering what's going to happen next and what's going on with the Rose Bride stuff and the end of the world and everything. I like the contrast of the revolution, the end of the world with normal school life. I really just enjoy these episodes in the show. I give it a full yay.
Can I ask, is it the end of the world or is it the start of a new one?
Who knows?
Okay. So that's Revolutionary
Does
Girl.
the chicken come before the egg?
Oh, what a question. So Utah's done. Why don't we talk about the Demon Girl Next Door, its competitor for this week? So what happened in these 2 episodes? We are seeing more of the growing battle between Yuki and Momo and the conflicts therein of Yuki wants to fight Momo. Momo is tricking her into being her best friend. And also just more of her just being really... It's a sitcom, and I think we've started to hit the formula of Yuki needs to be better at being evil, tries to be evil, Momo tricks her into being her buddy for the day, and then they do stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much cover it?
Pretty much it.
Oh, we also got the ancestor, the evil demon ancestor who can communicate through your dreams, but you don't remember him that well when you wake up. So, you know, and Yuki's kind of also an idiot. So, that about sum it up?
Yep.
All right.
More or less.
Yep.
Cool. Envy, I think you're leading us into plot. What'd you think about this plot?
So, I remember when we talked about this show a couple weeks ago, I said I really enjoyed the plot, and I still do, but I will admit that we were talking about things repeating in Utena this week. This show kind of, and it's a good thing you mentioned sitcom, because yeah, a lot of times sitcoms repeat the same types of jokes and scenarios to keep, audiences, well, it's what made them laugh the first time, so that's what they're going to make them do this week. And yeah, a lot of the setup is kind of the same. It's Yuki's an idiot, and she's
I'm pretty sure
trying
it's
to...
Yuko.
It is Yuko.
Oh, Yuko, excuse me. Yeah, Yuko, yeah. Yuko's trying to defeat Momo, and then Momo feels pity on her, and then her other friends are like, "Oh, you go, girl. You're trying your best." And I feel like if episode 4 through 6 is kind of the same setup, I could feel like that shtick kind of getting old. I hope there's some variety to her gains, quote unquote. And I did find it funny how she went from a 100 yen allowance to 500 yen, and I did the math. 100 yen is the equivalent to 80 cents
Yep.
American, and then 500 yen is the equivalent of $3.32. So she literally has $3.50.
That's
month
based on
allowance.
buying power.
Yeah.
We should say that a yen is more of like what we would consider a penny here. Like, not necessarily the equivalents of buying power, but like in their denominations. So a 500 yen's like, here's $5 for the month.
Yeah, that's her monthly
well-
allowance is like $3.35.
Yeah.
And then she immediately spends it on a Coke and some udon, which, to be fair, I would too, but I usually would have more money on me than $3.50, but...
Yeah,
Well,
but
that
I guess I'm
is
also
her
not-
allowance. She doesn't have a job.
Yeah, but also, can we just like appreciate for a minute? You could get a Coke and a good lunch for $3.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
My God. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
This is America.
Yep, this is America.
I think that's about as much of an answer as you need.
I did like that, and I also did like the gag of her trying to beat her at the river, and then she goes on a freaking 7-kilometer jog instead. I'm like, damn, you got more persistence than me. I would have probably given up after 3 kilometers, but you go, girl.
I thought it was 4.
It was 4, yeah.
It was 4.
I thought it was 7.
No,
they
it
were
was
gonna
4
do-
kilometers. And then it was another 4 kilometers
They were gonna
back,
do
but
3.
Yeah.
They were gonna do 3, they did 4.
Well, regardless, I did like that skit. So I guess it's just more of how do you tell your story of Yuko trying to get better and try to keep it from getting samey. So I guess I'm a light yay for plot.
I did not. I really stopped taking notes at this point. I was like, the plot is simple and fun. I don't really have many complaints about it.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I only put for plot, Yuko is poor and weak. That's it. That's the plot.
You're right.
It's the whole show.
Wow.
One might say it's an oversimplification, but you're not wrong.
I think it's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got out of this. Like, I don't feel like there's like a deeper overarching thing really going on right now.
I think you.
Yeah. I think I kind of used part of my notes to just describe the show. Being a comedy anime, the show has hit its sitcom loop of Yuko is dumb, Momo tricks her into hanging out, jokes at Yuko's expense. But here's the thing though, nothing for nothing, I still found myself laughing at it pretty consistency, which it's doing its job, and I am kind of looking forward to watching another episode, so I'm a light yay.
Alright, so I really didn't like this. It kind of, it was what I was afraid would happened. And that's just like, the second episode was basically the same as the first episode, just the same joke in a slightly different, like, fashion. So it was just kind of repetitive to me, and like, not much happened, not much progression besides the intro of the ancestor in the other episode, but then she was kind of just gone. And then it just went back to being repetitive. It just went back to being the same joke over and over and over again. Like, it's cute, but it's more like a show I would put on in the background than really watch and pay attention to. Like, it's something I would play a video game while I have it just playing in the background, which is fine. Like, some shows are good background shows, and that's okay. But, like, this isn't something that I would, like, put on to really, like, engage in. I feel like it's one of those cute girls doing cute things shows, but, like, in a magical girl dress up, you know? And that's fine. I think that appeals to a lot of people, and it's its own, like, genre. But it's just not, like, my genre. Like, it's not something I gravitate towards. And I just don't think there's, like, much of a plot, which is fine, because I don't think it wants to have a plot. I think it's just, like, a sitcom comedy or whatever. But, like, I'm gonna have to give it an A for plot.
Yeah, so this was, like, cute and silly, but I found it was pretty repetitive, and I even found myself kind of saying, it's like, she's getting humiliated again. And I'm just like, this is happening to the person who is the demon, but who is our main character. So it's kind of like, interesting reversal there, because this is our protagonist. But I kind of found it to be like, the plot's a low meh, because I feel like it's just not really doing anything interesting with the concept that we have been given. And that was everyone.
Yeah, Cece, why don't you tell us about your thoughts on the characters?
I love the dynamics between the characters. For lack of a better metaphor, you all know the meme of, like, Slytherins with their emotional support Hufflepuff?
I've heard of it.
Sure.
In high school, I think it was more like I was a Slytherin that was adopted by a pack of Hufflepuffs because they felt bad about me. They're like, oh, that sad creature. We will befriend you. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing that's happening here. She's trying so hard to be evil, but she's just a little pathetic, and so all the girls are like, okay, we will take care of you. We got this.
I have a bone to pick with the ancestor.
Okay.
She's like really going in on Yuko for being weak and pathetic and criticizing the fuck out of her. But she's also never won. So like, where does she get off? Like, excuse me, Miss Ma'am. I feel like we got a nice look into Momo, like a subtle look into her. Like, it's really implying she doesn't want to fight anymore. She's outright said she's done with, like, the magical girl stuff. And I feel less like it's her, like manipulating Yuko into hanging out, as in more trying to subtly like manipulate Yuko into not trying to fight with her because she doesn't want to fight. I think realizing she wants to be Yuko's friend kind of comes secondary to that. But overall, I just really love the character of the narrator. He makes it so funny. Like, you go, Shamiko!
Or something.
Or something like that.
Yeah, like, or you'll get it eventually, like, yeah, that happens. Yeah, I'm sorry, my brain is so fried.
It's okay.
I like the narrator, so I'm a yay.
Okay.
I'm also a yay here. I think the characters are enjoyable. I think they play off of each other really well, and like everyone kind of has their own kind of specific, not necessarily, everyone's kind of like working in the same realm of comedy, but each of them have like a different way of going about it and doing things. I think the jokes are good. Characters get a laugh out of me, but I gotta say, we did get introduced to the best new character in the entire show, which is the friendship blast. It was like, wait for me, master. Like, oh, you're so weak. He's trying to come back to you. Is it gonna hurt? I mean, like, maybe. Wait, where are you going? Like, why? That's, oh, it's so dumb. I love it. So yeah, I'm a yay on this.
I'm like a meh to a light yay. I think the characters are all very cute and they all have like their distinct personalities and stuff, and they play off of each other well. I think I get a little bit tired of the shtick between the two main girls because I don't know, like I just want something different to happen between them, I guess. There's just really like no progression at all so far with their relationship. I feel like it's very one note, which is okay because it's a comedy, but it's like not that enjoyable for me to watch. But I think as individual characters, I think they're both pretty enjoyable. And I think everybody's pretty enjoyable and like memorable overall. Like I had no real like issues with any of the characters in and of themselves. Although I really think Momo's look does not match her personality. Like, I think she needs, like, darker hair or something. Like, maybe she needs, like, a purple aesthetic. She just doesn't look like how
Does
she
she need
acts.
to be Homura?
I think she needs to be, like, a Homura type, you know? Like,
So she needs to be like a
Pretty emo.
Homura Zakuro kind of
yeah.
cool personality kind of character.
And usually it's, like, a purple character, you know?
I feel like it's kind of funny that she is that character, but, like, she's so Madoka-coded.
I just don't like it, though. Like, when I think of her character, I think my mind, like, transplants another, like, look onto her.
That's fair.
Like, I just can't match her, like, animation with her personality. So that, like, bothers the hell out of me. But aside from that, I like all the rest of the things. Like, so I would say, like, overall, like, probably leaning towards a light yay.
Everyone is very silly, and I don't really have a whole lot to add here. Although, I guess for me, and maybe this was just how I interpreted it. I saw, like, Momo, like, sort of, you know, manipulate to hang out with Yuko. Not really so much as that, but kind of like, Yuko wants to fight. Momo's just like, yeah, okay. How about we just, like, make you really tired and then, like, we're not gonna do that. Which is kind of what I got from when they were doing the whole running sequence, was Momo just trying to, like, tire her out and then basically just sort of left her there to go run the 4 kilometers back. And I don't know, I'm like, if this was an excuse to hang out with her, this would not be what you would do. You would walk her to the train station and you would go and ride the train together. And then, like, the whole trying to teach about the magic practice thing, I don't know. I guess that also was, like, a different thing. I think Momo at that point's just trying to be helpful just because she is so pathetic. But I don't know. Maybe my brain is misinterpreting a lot of things and not interpreting as this girl wants to hang out, more that this girl is like, okay, we're gonna try to make the demon feel better, but also, like, this is really fucking funny. And it's just trying to mess with her. But again, I'm probably interpreting it wrong. I don't know, like, if it were me and this were happening, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? No, cut that out. Is this a joke to you? This isn't a joke. But anyway, I think I give it like a high meh, just cause it's kind of like, it's funny, but it's not like I'm laughing hysterically the entire time.
I'm a yay for characters. I like all of them. I like Yuko, I like Momo, I like the friend. I like the mom, even though she's kind of passive-aggressive towards her own daughter half the time. I even like the ancestor. And, I just think, they're fun characters, and it's it's like a sitcom comedy, and I like the characters in the sitcom. So, yeah, it's a yay for me.
I'm surprised that everybody thought she was trying to wear her out or just, like, manipulate her into hanging out and being her friend. I feel like she was genuinely like, you're weak in an area that I am very strong, and no, she said she was below average for a magical girl.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she knows about being a magical girl. She's like, this is my area of expertise. I can train you. I think she is genuinely trying to help her.
I mean, don't you want to help your friend?
I mean, I guess it just kind of comes off a bit differently. Maybe that's just because of how, her personality is, maybe. I don't know.
Sadly, I don't feel like I thought too deeply about any of this.
Good for you.
I'm starting to feel like this isn't your show. I actually think I might have to dock points from my full yay on characters because we did not get a return of the two girls who were working with the tin can phone from last episode.
I know. I love
Hey,
them.
can you hear me? Loud and fuzzy.
So there's a point where the ancestor is like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna explain this because it's too complicated and I know you won't understand. And I'm like, acknowledging and giving a nod to the fact that, like, your world building doesn't make any sense, and then saying, it's too complicated, so we're not gonna explain it. It doesn't give you a pass. Like, that's just shitty writing. Like, yeah, your world building doesn't make sense. You could have done something to try and make it make sense. But we just kind of have, like, hey, yeah, magical girls exist, they don't hide, so do demons, no one cares, even though Yuko was really surprised and acted like she had no idea they existed before it happened to her. Take it or leave it. Which, I mean, I guess is normal for a comedy, but you don't get a pass, demon girl next door. Fuck off.
So there isn't a lot of change or development, mostly because it's a comedy series, and development would mean changing the situation in the sitcom, which is what the sit stands for. So in that regard, development is not going to happen. We get a little bit of something. Momo does explain a few things about magical girl magic, I guess, which is something. But that being said, like you said, this is not really about developing things. That being said, I still like a lot of the meta elements of the series, which I guess I put in world building, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. This might be a weird comparison. Did anyone feel like this is like Love is War, but with magical girls a little bit, where it's like, where we know the genre and we're kind of like poking fun at it a little bit from a different angle?
Not really.
Not really.
No?
Probably
Okay, just
because it's not as over the top as that.
That is fair.
And they don't act, and like, there's not really like concealed crushes going on and trying to get the other one to confess first.
Well, that's
the
because
thing
Love is
that
War.
show.
Love is War is like a spin on the romance genre. This is a spin on the magical girl genre in the same sort of like, this is sort of a satire, sort of a parody a little bit.
Yes, and I get that, but it's not doing it in the same way.
No, I mean, nothing for nothing. The narrator's nice, but if they had a lot more narrator, thoughts on that?
Would probably be funnier.
Overall, I'm like, maybe a meh, maybe a light, yeah, I don't know. Probably a meh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like there was much world building here. I don't know that it needs it since it's just like a cute little comedy. I don't think it's really a show that's focused on world building. So it's kind of hard to like rate this particular category in shows that I feel like are just not invested in world building because of the nature of the plot. So I don't know, like a meh, I guess.
I would also give this a meh because, like, world building is definitely not this show's strong suit. But there were a couple things that I picked up on. So, because Momo is actually considered pretty weak by magical girl standards, the only reason that she was able to save the world, as mentioned in the previous episode, was because of her team. So that kind of gives us a sort of like, maybe like a measuring stick, kind of, as far as like how powerful magical girls can be in this world, which visibly we haven't really seen, but maybe we'll get there eventually if this goes on. Demons apparently cannot handle carbonation very well. That was another thing that I took away from this.
That's biblically accurate. I have no idea.
Yes. There is a signal that is needed to talk to her ancestor through her dreams, and apparently it's not set up very well, so demon Wi-Fi?
She got shitty Wi-Fi.
towers?
I can't even get 2 bars in here.
Yeah. Apparently, like, giving the statue offerings is how you can feed her. So, like, put a bowl of chips in front of the statue, I guess, so she can have her Doritos.
Also, give me some magazines to read.
And sort of, like, kind of just establishing a couple of weird bits and bobs here and there that I think can be, like, used for comedic purposes. But yeah, as far as, like, actual world building is concerned, there's, like, not really a whole lot here. So yeah.
Yeah, my thoughts are the same as Yan and Chibi, so meh.
I don't know if this goes in this section, or if I'm thinking about this, like, too non-diegetically, but I feel like this show as a whole is not built for small girls, and that kind of misses the point. So I enjoy it, but I don't know it belongs here in this tournament.
Okay, production. I think the show's still cute. It's generic in how it looks and whatnot. The music's not that memorable. I think the ED's catchy, but it's not a lot to write home about from the production department. The dub is good. I like the dub. But overall, the whole package is kind of a meh.
Yeah, I feel like there's nothing really, like, special about anything going on in production. Like, it's not ugly or anything. Like, it looks cute, but I feel like, I don't know, it looks like a lot of similar shows. So it doesn't really spark anything in me, like positive or negative. I'm just neutral, so I guess meh.
I think the dub is fine. Art is a little too moe for me at times. I like the shoe size detail on the ancestors' heels. That was a thing that I wrote because you could see it said 20.5 on the bottom of her shoes. I found that was funny. Production overall, I'm gonna give it a meh because it's fine.
Production wise, I like the animation. Yeah, it's kind of samey compared to a lot of anime today, but I still think it's appealing. I will admit that I liked the dub cast overall for the most part. I will admit though that and usually, she's one of the better dub voice actresses, but for some reason, Monica Rial was a little annoying for me these episodes. Maybe it was because most of Yuko's dialogue in these 2 episodes was her screaming, so maybe that kind of played a part into it. But yeah, I guess I'm a light yay for production.
Yeah, I'd also give it a light yay. The art style is cute. There's nothing, like, super special about the animation, but it does the job. I have no complaints.
I like the animation well enough. I think it's nothing special, but it's done well. The dubbing is funny. I think they did a good job with bringing it over and, like, actually landing the jokes. The music, I think, is really good, but where this shines for me the most is, like, the actual, like, the sound effects and stuff. Like, I feel like if those are even just a little bit off, that can throw the entire, like, bit off. And, like, they always land that. And I think we discussed this in the Collect 'em All tournament, where people are willing to forgive, like, little visual goofs way easier than they are audio goofs. So overall, I'm like a yay on this.
All right. Yin, why don't you take us into final thoughts?
I was pretty, like, neutral to this whole show. And at times I was kind of bored because it is kind of samey throughout. And I feel like it has like a formula established now. So I kind of know what to expect from the rest of it after these 3 episodes. And I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. I don't dislike this show necessarily. I think it does have cute aspects. And I think like if I was to watch it in bite-sized like 5-minute YouTube videos or something, like I would get a chuckle here and there. But I feel like watching like several episodes, like I don't know, this isn't a good binge for me. It's more like a background show or a watch in parts like on YouTube kind of show. I would definitely turn on the background and play a video game. It's like nice vibes, but like not something I'd really focus on. So I'm gonna give it a meh.
So overall, I think the show is cute and very silly, and I think like as far as production level goes, like it's good. As far as like engagement is concerned, I feel like now that we've seen episodes 1 through 3 and like the last couple of episodes have been somewhat samey, particularly because they are essentially 2 episodes that basically have like 2 smaller episodes a piece within them, because it's kind of like first part with the running and then the second part with like the udon eating, and then we had the 3rd episode that had like another 2-parter thing going on with that I feel like a lot of it is just sort of again the same sort of situation over again, and I feel like that could get kind of tedious. So I would say overall I give this like a light meh, or like a high meh, excuse me. Because like this is not like bad or horrendous. It's silly, it's cute, but it's a little bit boring.
After watching the first episode, I was really looking forward to watching the show, and after these 2 episodes, I was less enthusiastic. I just hope that if this moves on, it's not too samey. Like, I get it, you know, the premise is Yuko being pathetic and Momo trying to help her out, but I just hope, like, again, they don't try to just repeat the same type of jokes over and over again, try to do something different. So that's why I'll give it a meh to a light yay for final thoughts.
I think it's cute. I think it's silly. I would love to watch more of this, but not in this competition, I don't think.
I definitely did not use the final thoughts notes in the way that was intended. I kind of used it as like miscellaneous thoughts.
I think that can also work in a way.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the running sequence. I used to do cross country in high school, and that was like entirely my mindset. Where it's like, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. Okay, I'm almost there. I want to die, I hate this. Why did I do this to myself?
Me during that entire marathon last year.
And then the only other thing I have on here is, I'm not sure if it's like an actual like topping or something, but during the udon they kept saying Chikawa, and Jaden Animations has an obsession with a character called Chikawa who is really big in Japan. I just posted a picture of him to the Discord. So the entire like udon sequence, I was just like, Chikawa!
They're eating Chikawa.
Anyways,
No.
yeah, that's all I got.
My final thoughts are, okay, this show is not going to break any new ground in this genre at all. But it's kind of like this cozy show that I'd enjoy continuing, even if it's just for like the vibes and a few laughs, quite frankly. I'm a light yay. That's everyone. All right. You guys ready to go in and really see who gets the yays and nays for these categories? It's voting time. All right. So as far as plot goes, who did you guys feel? Chibi, let's start with you. Who gets your vote for plot?
My vote for plot goes to Utena, because there is, despite it being rather slow, there is an actual, like, progressing plot versus a very samey plot. So, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Utah for plot.
I also said Utena.
Utah!
Give me 2, Utah. Yeah, it's a serialized show versus an episodic show. If you're not going to give plot to the serialized show, I mean, that's the whole point, is that.
Utena.
Utena, yeah, that's a pretty clean sweep on plot for Utena. Envy, why don't you tell us who gets your point for characters?
I enjoyed all the characters of Demon Girl Next Door, and I was kind of mixed on the characters for Utena, so I'm going to go with Demon Girl Next Door for characters.
I said the same thing.
I also said Demon Girl. I just really like the narrator.
I was also saying Demon Girl. Everybody was fun.
Utena.
Yeah, I will also go with Utena because, like, while all of the characters for Demon Girl Next Door were, like, fun and silly, the variations of character types that we have for Utena, like, to me, that's, like, a lot more interesting to watch. So, yeah.
That's fair. But Demon Girl Next Door takes characters. Cece, why don't you take us into world building? Who gets your points there?
Utena gets the point for me. The world had much more to it.
I am also Utah here. While it's slow, it actually has world building going on, where again, Demon Girl Next Door, they were just like, we're hand waving it. Don't think about it. Suspension of disbelief.
I weirdly enough, with the additions of like some of the demon stuff and the actual like we're learning about magical girl things, I'm gonna go with Demon Girl Next Door.
I think I have to go with Utena. I think the type of world building it did worked for it, even though it's slower. I think it's establishing more of a mystery and more twists later on. Whereas Demon Girl Next Door, I don't feel like has much world building or really focuses on it at all.
I will also go with Utena, only because Demon Girl Next Door's world building, quote unquote, is haphazard, while Utena's has world building, even though it is like a slow, progressive one.
I think Utena just had more world building overall than Demon Girl Next Door, so I'll go with Utena.
All right, Utena takes world building. Kozi, why don't you take us into production?
I said Demon Girl. I just really can't, in good conscience, give it to Utah because they reused huge chunks, whereas everything on Demon Girl, that was all like new animation, new sequences for the entirety of the 2 episodes.
I disagree. I gotta give it to Utah. I mean, I feel like I had... You know what? Go back and listen to what I said about it. Fashion.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Utena. I think the aesthetic appeals to me more and has more of its own unique style, and I really like the music and the designs and everything are very iconic, so I'd go with that one.
I will also give it to Utena. Yeah, there are repeated sequences, but it's a 90s anime. I can forgive it a little more because I know a lot of older anime usually do tend to do that. But I don't know. I like the music. I like the character designs. I like the animation. And Demon Girl Next Door, like, while it's cute, sometimes it's too cute. But yeah.
Oh no, it's too cute!
It's too cute.
It's too moe.
It's disgusting.
It's too moe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Demon Girl Next Door.
Yes, Demon Girl as well.
Well, we got a tie.
We do.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Did anyone feel
I
not
think
particularly strong
overall-
about overall? You know what? Fuck it. We
I
will
don't
allow
think
this to be a tie for now, and unless something goes
Yep.
really cattywampus at the very end. Okay, I'm leading us into final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this, weirdly enough, and it might just be that I'm hungry, but I'm thinking about food in regard to these shows. Demon Girl Next Door is like a sleeve of Oreos. I love Oreos, but I know I shouldn't eat a ton of them. Revolutionary Girl Utena feels like it's going to be a 3 to 4 course meal, and I've only had the appetizer. And that is a lot more interesting to me at this moment. Now, don't get me wrong. After this, if it gets knocked out, I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch the rest of Demon Girl Next Door very easily. Because let's be real, Oreos don't last long in my house. But for the sake of this, I gotta say I'm more interested in what is the next thing coming up with Utena as opposed to what's the next thing coming up with Demon Girl. So I'm going that direction.
Yeah,
I've been working on this metaphor, if it wasn't clear.
I know. You like had it all
Wow.
set.
I know.
Yeah.
Is anyone else hungry?
I am hungry now,
Yeah,
actually. I can
sorry.
snack.
Very
No.
sorry about that. We got
I'm
Oreos.
eating my dinner.
But yeah, I would agree. I think Utena just has more intrigue. I think it has more of an aesthetic that I like. I just liked pretty much almost every aspect of it more. And I'm more interested. I mean, I know where it goes because I've seen this, but like if I was watching for the first time, I'd be like, I'm more interested in seeing where it goes. So I go with Utena.
My final thoughts are Demon Girl Next Door is cute and well produced. But as far as like what is something that I would actually like want to continue watching based on these 3 episodes that we've watched between Utena and Demon Girl, I would give it to Utena because I am way more intrigued, and despite it being a lot older than Demon Girl Next Door, I still like how it looks.
At the end of the day, for final thoughts, I would say which show do I feel like watching more of, and even though I had some complaints, I think I'd rather watch Demon Girl Next Door. So that gives my final thoughts.
As I keep saying, I very much enjoyed Demon Girl, but I don't think it belongs in this competition. I think it should go to Utena.
Utena has lesbians, so I'm going with that. I am a simple girl with simple girly wants.
Wait, are we not thinking the Demon Girl Next Door is gonna have lesbian? Like, is that not? No one else is thinking that? That's where that's going?
I'm thinking it'll have, like, the subtext, but they won't officially be in a relationship.
Also,
okay,
like,
that's fair.
Utena and Anthony are engaged.
That is
Also,
fair.
It's more serious.
Utena-
I will say, if at most Demon Girl Next Door will have shipping fan service, that is about as much as I think it'll give us.
That's
like Utena's relationship with Anthony feels like an actual romantic relationship, whereas the vibes I'm getting from Demon Girl Next Door is fetishization of lesbians.
All right, well, with 3 wins to 1, Revolutionary Girl Utena takes the day, and they are the dynamic duos champion. They will be moving on into the Elite 8. We got to get another one for today, though. So, let's move over to the locked and loaded category. We're going to be talking Magical Destroyers versus Granbelm. Belm. I need some Oreos right now.
Me too.
Yeah, so we'll talk Magical Destroyers first. The war continues between otakus and not otakus. We get our last magical girl. We go on an acid trip inside their heads for a fight. And then they get attacked by a not Ava teddy bear monster race car during a weird... I don't want to say what happened.
We all know what happened.
We know what happened. Fight. And then, I'm just gonna call her Dark Anarchy showed up. Did I miss much?
No.
I feel like I did, but also I didn't.
Think you're good.
I think I covered it.
We collected Pink.
Yeah.
The weird teddy bear guy showed up.
Uh-huh.
And then we met Purple.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yin, what did you think of the plot?
Okay, so let me pull up my notes. I don't think I had too many of them. There's more magical girls in these episodes, so that's one point, you guys. Like, there are magical girls in this. I'm not sure I'm crazy about them, but that's more of a character thing, so. But we do have some magical girl action. There are some battles. There's also a lot of just, like, goofiness that bogged it down, and just a lot of really cringy, weird humor that bogs it down. I don't know. Like, I could see the bones of something good being here, but they get so caught up in, like, that other stuff that I feel like the cringy prolonged bondage thing. It's just like, I just feel like any plot that could be, like, good gets, like, too overshadowed by that stuff. Because I feel like some of the stuff with going and finding Pink and stuff could be good, you know? It's like, and they're gathering the magical girls and putting together a team. Like, I think that's a good foundation, but they, like, just kind of destroy it with all the other stuff. So that's what I didn't really like. So I have to, like, say that overall I wasn't nuts about the plot, because I feel like half of the plot is the stuff I don't like, but there is, like, highlights to it in terms of just, like, I guess, what the plot should be if there wasn't so much goofy weirdness. So I don't know. It's not looking too great, but like I don't even know what to rank it. Like a nay or a low meh? I don't know.
Is that a light nay?
A light nay? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we've been having.
Something
like,
in that
lights here and
realm.
there.
It's in that realm.
So these episodes, when I was watching them, they felt really long. And I was like, can we please just get to the point? Because a lot of it was stupid. And I'm like, cool, we got Pink, great. Then we got to episode 3, and it just ended up being really fucking uncomfortable. And I'm just like, why? Why are we here?
Just to suffer.
I know. And then the only interesting thing that happened was Purple showed up, and I'm just like, oh, now the stakes have risen like a lot more, and it's actually getting interesting. Just all of the weirdness really takes away from whatever like minimal plot this show has. I'm gonna give it an A because it's stupid.
I think I feel like when we talked about the show a couple weeks ago, I pretty much said that, like, how do you describe the plot of the show, or like what happens? And yeah, like you can describe what happens, but it almost feels like, you know, it's like you're talking nonsense, you're talking gibberish. It's like something like a horny teenager would write on his fanfic at like 12 in the morning.
Honestly, it probably was.
I think so.
I mean, the idea of, you know, confronting your friend and her trauma through her mind is kind of cool, even if that vision and dream is something. And then obviously, you know, magical girls battling mech is kind of cool, but before and after is kind of sketchy, especially before. That's somebody's kink, I guess. I don't want to judge, but that wouldn't be for me. I would say that. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't bored, I will say that. I was definitely curious on what was going to happen next. I'm going to invent a new rating. I'm not even going to say meh. This is just more of a Nani.
What?
Why?
Nani.
Nani?
Yeah, Nani. That's my rating for plot. Nani.
So the whole plot feels like it was made for IRL weebs to get off to like let them feel important about themselves.
Yeah.
This just feels like a fantasy for them. And I do not like that. It's an A for me.
So I'm like, that first episode, we were all like, it's something fucking nice because I want magical girls, and I'm simultaneously glad but super pissed that we're focusing more on the girls because they have the makings of an interesting story, except they're reducing it down to like kink tropes. There was a point when they first got to the cafe where, or it might not have been in the cafe, it was somewhere in the background.
I feel like less talked about the cafe, the better.
Yes.
Well, somewhere in the background, there was an otaku who was doing Gunpla, and I looked over at Cece, I'm like, that's bullshit. Gunpla is like a wholesome hobby. That's not like an otaku thing. And then
Denial.
they showed that the organization uses Gunpla to build their giant mech. And I'm like, oh, that's actually on brand for a repressive regime to use something that they tell people they can't do and is bad and forbidden. So like, I'm like a meh here. I just think that is actually a good element of plot, but I think it was accidental.
So I remember whenever I was talking about the show during the first round, and I was kind of like, oh, I'd give this a few more episodes. Let's see if it gets dumber. It did. I wondered, and I found out. So, you know, I think it's interesting to have, like, in your mind, acid trip battle scene. That's kind of cool. I thought that's, like, an interesting idea. I think there's a lot of Evangelion references here.
Yeah.
Whether through that acid
Probably.
trip or through the whole situation with building that giant robot and everything and the overall design of it. So that's nice, I guess. I guess it's more of a production thing. I hear what you guys said. Yeah, there's like some good thoughts in here that are like bogged down by. Yeah, why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that, my guy? Like, no, I agree with Kozi. Like, there is an element of like hate-filled political movements being hypocritical and using elements that they're saying are bad for their own benefit in a lot of things. And I think like the introduction of a evil magical girl to fight the good rebel magical girls is a fun idea, but it's also like, yeah, but what did we have to get through to get here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm a light nay here. I'm not a full nay, and it's because there are some interesting elements, but those elements are not interesting enough for me to like want to slog through the rest of that stuff. Chibi, why don't you tell us about your character thoughts?
So, what I think of for characters so far is Otaku Hero doesn't really need to be here. He's superfluous to this entire thing, and I get that he's kind of like the otaku audience surrogate, if you will. And kind of like, I think someone just for like the otakus at home to like project themselves onto. The characters as far as our magical girls go, Anarchy, I like her. Like, I like that she wants to, like, you know, do good, save her friends, save the world. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Blue, I feel like she's a joke, kind of, ish. Just because, like, a lot of the sexual humor is normally done through her. Which I'm just like, please stop doing that. Pink, what I wrote for her is Gobo, question mark. Who, Blue has to be her translator, which is somewhat funny, but I also was a little confused as to why. Like, cringy car guy, I was like,
Cringe
why are
mobile
you
driver
here?
guy. He had a
Yes.
name.
Yes. I was like, who is this man? And then we get, like, the little backstory, sort of, like, kind of playing out with him and the guy who's driving the mech, which that was just a lot with what happened with those two characters that we just got for one episode. Then Purple shows up, and I'm just like, I know you are the purple girl who is driving the bus because you both have umbrellas. I'm not going to pretend that that's not who that is, and if I am wrong, I really don't think I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. There's no way that you're wrong.
But I'm like, you might have wanted to hide her and not put her in the opening if you wanted her to actually be a surprise. Because I would have liked that a little bit more. Because I would have been like, the fuck is this? But yeah. So I feel like characters, I feel like Anarchy's kind of the only one that I think is even somewhat standard for like a magical girl kind of character. I feel like the other ones are all just, they're kind of there to be funny, which I'm like, that's sort of not great for like your cast of characters if a couple of them are like jokes, at least to me. And maybe it's just because of like how like they're being portrayed through the episodes is just like not to my liking. I wish they would maybe take a little bit more care with them, but this is a show for dudes, so I don't really think that would have happened anyway. But I don't know. Purple's the only other interesting one that I think we have here, and that's all I got. I'm kind of like a light nay. Anarchy's kind of the only thing that's saving it from being a full nay, if I'm being honest.
I don't mind Otaku Hero. I like Anarchy. Blue's only purpose really is to get turned on by everything. I like Pink's design, and I like her unique speech pattern. I thought that was kind of funny. The mascot character, Kyotaro or whatever, like, I think it's just one of those things where, oh yeah, if just one of these days when otakus get arrested, a magical girl mascot appears, and that's it. No one's ever going to question where this thing came from. So yeah, that thing's kind of useless, other than taking the damage and dying every 5 seconds. Characters, I don't know. It's a load. It's a high nay. Kind of like what Chibi said. Anarchy is kind of pulling.
I wrote, whoa, badass transformation sequence, and then very quickly added, for anarchy, Blue's is disturbing. And Pink's is cute. I like her outfit. I like her vibe. But the other characters, not all the weebs and otaku hero, they drag it down so much. I'm probably also going to do a light nay.
I'm like a full nay. I think they had potential with a lot of the characters. Really, all of Pink's episode, where she's like, I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want them looking at me anymore. I'm like, we could have had the trauma, but instead they said, I want to fap to this. And it's so sad because, like, again, they have a good foundation for a lot of things that could work really well. They're just not utilizing it because it wasn't meant to be like a good story with good characters. Like, they obviously just made this to jerk off to. And it's sad.
Yeah, I don't want to keep echoing that, but that seems to be the rallying cry of this entire show is like, you have some good ideas that you decided to put porn over. Like, you could have just had a good thing. Because, like, yeah, I do think that Pink was interesting of, like, I don't want to be a magical girl because of creepy fans and stuff like that. Explore that. That could be good. I like the idea of brainwashed car guy. And, like, but I mean, I'm kind of a fan of the trope of, like, the fallen friend who turns into an enemy and then all that sort of stuff, even though that it doesn't last very long. Cringemobile driver guy, just the name being repeated so much did get a laugh from me. I will say that. So, like, there was some good stuff, I guess, that was underutilized. Blue is just there for that one thing. Anarchy's fine. It's interesting with Otaku Hero, though, because I've never seen an insert character quite like this. Most insert characters that I see are just blank. You know what I mean? Like, they don't add anything, they don't subtract anything, they don't do anything other than just, you are there, and they're part of the plot, but in a way that you can pretend like you're part of the plot. This is the first self-insert, like, character that I feel like actively negatively impacts the plot, because we are wasting any time that we spend with him when we could be actually following any of the plot with any of the characters who actually have something to do. Weirdly enough, I think Otaku Hero, take away the hero, just make him your logistics guy that we see once every 3 episodes. Yeah, he runs the internet. It seems to be what he's good at. Just put him in the background. He'll get a funny line every 2 to 3 episodes. And I think it's perfect like that, but I don't know. He's got to be up front and center.
I completely, like, forgot about this until you were, like, just talking now. When they enter the cafe,
this is what I thought you were bringing up before.
everyone snubs the fucking magical girls who are, like, the head of the army, the only reason, like, a revolutionary force exists at all. And they're like, oh yeah, Otaku Hero, our hero. Why?
Like, again, if I want to bring up other characters who are clearly just audience insert power fantasy kind of whatever, I can see in those ones where it's like, why this is that thing. It's, yeah, you don't have a personality, but you're strong, or you're smart, or you're this, or you're that. You're the thing that you want to be in this world to be the awesome guy that everybody likes, even though you're fucking Wonder Bread and no one would have any fun talking to you.
I'll tell you what people feel like they're getting out of this guy. They're surrounded by the girls.
Yeah, no, I know, but like...
That's what they're getting out of it.
But it's like, at the very least, those other self-insert characters are like, you do serve a purpose. It's not great, but you're not actively negatively impacting stuff. I feel like the fact that he really does not have a purpose, like actively does not have a purpose, and yet is the head of everything, is like,
it's annoying.
How are you a net negative when you're supposed to just be neutral? Like, what? How? I don't know.
Like, to jump off of that, I think...
Let's dogpile this motherfucker. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, no. The thing about that is I think the reason that the waitress was like, oh, Otaku Hero, and then snubs the girls is because
she wants his dick for some reason.
Yeah, no.
Like, power fantasy for the guy.
Yeah, but
so
like, I feel like...
self-insert. But, no, to snub the other girls shows that, like, oh, I'm better than them. The girls are gonna fight over you. They're not gonna treat each other, with the dignity that they deserve given who they are, because guys like the idea of women fighting over them.
I will say...
Yeah, no. Like, I do exactly think that. It's just, like, it has no place in, like, an actual story that makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Like,
it's not supposed to.
Maybe there could be an element of, like, oh, they don't like the magical girls because maybe they felt abandoned because they went away for a while. Maybe. But I'm probably reaching really hard and giving them way too much credit. Like, yeah, I think I'm done.
What was your rating?
Oh, I don't know. Meh, light, nay, I don't know. I want to give some points to Brainwash Guy a little bit because, like, okay, you are interesting. You're trapped in a show that's bad, but, like, you're interesting. Like...
Yeah. I have similar thoughts to everyone else. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't even know that I like Anarchy that much, but it's just by comparison with everyone else, I think she ends up looking a little better.
Otaku Hero makes Kirito from Sword Art Online look fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like by comparison, I don't know, but it's just like, I mean, we've said everything we need to say about Blue. I mean, she's just sex jokes and that's it. I kind of like Pink. I think they could have like went somewhere better with her. Her design is cute, and I think the little Gobo or whatever thing is kind of cute, but it's like, I know nothing about her is like going anywhere, it's just like what it is. But I feel like, yeah, I agree with you guys that like her original plot could have been interesting if they would have done something with it, but they didn't want to, so. And then Otaku Hero is still here, and I don't even know why he's called Otaku Hero, because he doesn't do anything, and I don't know, it's like...
Oh, he is an otaku.
He is
At least
an
half
otaku.
of his name is right.
Yeah, half of his name's accurate. The other half doesn't make any sense. Maybe if he, like, I don't know, did strategy for them or something. I don't know, give him some purpose, but it's like, they're not invested in giving him a purpose,
That's what I'm saying about the power fantasy.
Yeah, they could have made him like, but I think the only power fantasy they care about is all the girls falling all over him. It's just like,
I get
it's
but
just how this show is. I don't know.
So make him super smart, like you're saying. Make
like
him a strategist or something. Like,
but they don't even care about that.
Like, it's weird to think about. Kogias, I don't think for Lelouch is like a power fantasy because he's not like very physically strong, but he's a genius and he knows how to like work a situation. Like, that's kind of a power fantasy.
Yeah, but we can't compare these shows.
Okay, I know. Maybe I just want to watch Code Geass again.
Maybe, but I don't know. Like, I think they wanted the fantasy that they wanted with this show, and I'm sure somebody is into that, but not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere in the realm of a nay. I mean, I think there were good things here that were just overshadowed by, like, their investment in the, like, just the goofy, pervy, whatever stuff that, like, I feel like really we didn't need as much because there's good stuff here, you know?
Yeah. Hey, Envy, what were your thoughts on world building?
Yeah. It's one of those things where there's technically world building, and you could try to explain how it all connects to the overarching plot of this mysterious organization trying to take down otaku culture. But at the end of the day, I don't think the show really cares about the world building that much, surprisingly. It just serves as an excuse to go from one crazy situation to the next. So I'm not going to really go too much deep into it either. So it's kind of like a meh overall for me.
Why is their protected ground a tourist attraction? That doesn't feel legal. That was my only comment.
I liked that they showed capitalism is still going strong. Amazon still has everyone by the balls. I did also actually like the juxtaposition of, oh, hey, these guys are, like, doing revolution, blah, blah, blah. The rest of the world is just normal. This is a tourist attraction. And they're laughing at them.
You know what? The tourists are right. They should be laughing at them.
I do actually have to give it props and respect in the fact that they actually established stakes in the third episode. That was a pretty brutal murder, and like it has like actual consequences to the fight now. So I feel like that did add to the world building there. But overall, I'm like a meh.
I also found it funny treating these people like zoo animals on some level. That was pretty funny. Doesn't stop the overall world from still being really cringe, even though you acknowledge it. I feel like this is one of the few times in an anime where these episodes maybe actively want to know less about the world on some level. So I'm a nay. Like it's weird, like how like there is where we keep bringing up like, oh, there's good elements here, but like the suck is so hard that it pulls it into the negative for me. I shouldn't say the suck is so hard ever talking about this show because they will. I can already hear Blue going, "Ooh, I'm into that."
No, I was gonna say that's a. Yeah, be careful what you say there, Al.
All right, yeah, I don't even know what to say about this world. I was kind of like, the premise to begin with was pretty cringy. It continues to be cringy. I guess it has some like fun elements to it, but the cringe is strong in this one. I don't know. It's the
cringe is strong with this one.
Yeah, I gotta say the voice. It's like a meh, I guess. I don't know. It's so hard to rate this anime.
Is it just me, or do we just feel like, are we sounding like tireder as we keep going? I know it's late, but I feel like it's the show. It's draining us.
It is the show, because this show took away my last 2 brain cells.
Oh no, you needed those to rub together. Oh, I can't talk about that. Blue's gonna get a whole thing. Ooh, rubbing.
Yeah, don't talk about rubbing.
What am I allowed to say anymore?
I don't know. Was that it, Yin?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. My only comment was, in CC, I believe you and I are of this, or someone was of the same mind. I said there are tours?
Yeah.
With a question mark?
Let's call it a safari.
Does that mean we can shoot them?
Hey, not every safari is a killing safari. That's a hunting party. Though, I wouldn't be surprised. No, they seem to be taking... I think in the first episode they established they're trying to take as many of them alive as possible. So I don't think they would immediately go that route.
Next.
Oh, you're done. Okay.
That was everyone.
I didn't realize you were done. I apologize about that. Okay.
No, you're fine.
Production. Cece, tell us your thoughts.
Amazon. I loved that instead of building a shopping website, they just took an AI-generated image of Amazon. I did really like the glimpses of the storyboard during the... I don't remember if it was the ending or the previews at the end.
I think it's the previews.
I thought that was a fun thing. The Photoshop jump scare at the end of the opening, it was fun the first time, but, like, seeing it back-to-back, it just loses its edge.
I think the opening is very impressive, but I hate it. Like, it's very well done for what it is. I don't like it. The music is all pretty boppy, I feel like. Like, I had a good time with the soundtrack. And their, like, transformation sequences and everything, like, those were very cool. I do have, like, a pretty high level of respect for, like, when you take unusual mediums and you bring it into animation and you pull it off really well, which is what I feel like they did in some of the sequences. It's a lot like the same vibe, at least to me, is like the Madoka Labyrinth stuff, with like the surrealism kind of paperish looking edits going on in the background. I don't know. I don't like this show, but it is very well produced for what it is. Like, the animation is pretty seamless. The art style isn't that ugly. Like, it's very well put together. It just sucks what's inside.
Has anyone seen the movie Get Him to the Greek?
No.
No.
Okay, don't.
I've
It's
heard of it.
aged very poorly. But there is one scene where a guy like tells a rock star what he actually thinks about his like last album, and he kind of ripped it apart a little bit, and he's like, how dare you fucking talk to me like that? Even though he asked him for his honest opinion, he's like, look, I hate you now. I respect what you said to me, and I respect your honesty, but I absolutely hate you. Just know that my hate is peppered with respect. And I feel like that's exactly what you said.
Pretty much, yeah.
I believe you would call this a worm cake. It looks really nice with all the icing on top, but then you cut into it and it's just worms.
That's fair.
Ew. I've never heard that before.
It's
That's
a very
disgusting.
It's a very pretty present. I hate the present, but it's a very pretty present.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's
I
those
hate it.
candles. It's those candles that you light it and it smells nice for like half an hour, then it smells like shit for 20 hours.
No. It's those Entenmann candles. The ones that everyone would bite because they smell like Entenmann's. But it's a candle.
Ugh.
The donut? Yeah.
Blech.
All right, so I'm not entirely a fan of the look of this show overall. I gotta give points to a good acid trip sequence, though, when I see one. I love the pink elephants and all the other sort of, like, weird shit that was going on in there. Honestly, pretty fun, if not for, like, the actual plot. Like, and nothing for nothing, I don't think we've mentioned it that much. I think this is a good thing. I'm genuinely surprised how, like, not slutty their outfits are. Like,
True.
I was, especially blue.
Blue.
I was,
Especially
what?
blue.
Yeah.
I was expecting a dominatrix gear or something. But, like,
Yeah.
no, like, you...
She's fully covered in
yeah.
like baggy clothes.
Yeah, and, like, even her transformation sequence, although bizarre, not pervy. I was like, that's your opportunity right there. Like, and you didn't... I don't know. Maybe the people are just crazy. And, like, they're trying to make everything weird. But then, like, the things that you automatically expect to be weird, they're not weird. They're trying to keep you on your toes. Like, am I giving them too much? I'm probably giving these people way too much credit. But, like, yeah, I think production's a light yay. It's, yeah, I don't like a lot of what I'm seeing, but you did a good job making it, I guess. Damn it.
Yeah. This show has no right to look this good. But it does. And I hate that it does, but it does. I think the animation looks great. I think they did a great job with the sequences for their transformations. I think the music's good. I think the opening and ending are really well done. I don't have any complaints about the production. I think whoever made this, props to them, and I have to give props to them. Whoever wrote it, no. Whoever animated it and everything else, yes. So it pains me to say this, but I'm giving it a yay on this.
I respect you, peppered with hate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to add as far as the production stuff is concerned. Like, I would agree with everyone else that, like, for what is in this show, it does not deserve to look this nice. Honestly, what it deserves is to look like Gaku and handsome, but that's a story for another day.
Damn,
It
no
deserves
Dorito
the Dorito
chins.
chin. Okay? But yeah, like I said, this is essentially a worm cake. And honestly, I feel like this amount of effort was kind of wasted on this show. But, you know, I guess some audience got to get a very nice, very well put together show. Single teardrop goes down my face. Okay. Envy, your turn.
It looks pretty. Yay.
Short and sweet, keeping that time down. Kozi, why don't you go into final thoughts?
I really liked episode 3. Like, I liked Pink. I liked her character arc. It made me feel like I was the one on a bad drug trip, which, for a sequence that was portraying like an acid trip, I feel like that's actually a good thing.
Sorry,
But
real
overall,
quick.
it's such
I think you mean episode 2. Episode 3 was the one where he got bondage.
Episode 2. You're right.
I'm like, you liked episode 3. What? What
No,
part?
my brain don't work.
Oh, it's okay. The writers doesn't.
But like overall, it's such obvious like fap fantasy material that it makes me kind of barf. I don't really like watching it. Episode 3 did get giggle out of me at Butt Rocket, and then Butt Shot is what killed him, but I wasn't having a great time. I'm meh.
This doesn't happen to me very often, but I actually had to pause the show a couple times because the cringe was really starting to get to me. And I was like, I'm going to take a second
You
walk
pulled
away. And then
You
I'll
pulled
come
a
back.
me
Yeah.
with this one.
It was a lot. Like, I'm just going to reiterate it again. There are some good ideas here for like 1 or 2 characters, and I would like to see them like explored in another show, like a good show. But like, I don't know, man. Like, weirdly enough, and I don't think it's to the, I think this is, anyone here ever watch High School of the Dead?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Everyone looks at that. It's a fan service show, and it is. I think underneath it's actually a pretty good zombie story. That's just
It is.
like kind
I'll
of
agree.
like handicapped by the fact that it's you know, the
Curvy.
animation's 50% waving tits. And like I think this kind of has the same problem of like, you have good ideas, you will never be taken seriously because your ideas are covered in a load of bad ones. So, but hey, I got what I wanted. I wanted to see how stupid it could get, and I did. So I think I'm a
We
nay
blame
here.
you.
Yeah, you can blame me. That's fine. This whole thing, this entire tournament is my fault. We've discussed this. But the next tournament, we're gonna all share the blame because everyone's gonna be involved, right?
No. I also distribute some of the blame to Cheebs.
Cheap. Oh yeah, you are the person who told me yes, magical girl idea. Good idea. But again, I think that comes back to me for putting this together.
I'm very disturbed by the fact that for once I have seen an anime and most people here haven't, and it's High School of the Dead.
High School of the Dead is where we get let's break her titty by bracing a sniper off of it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. In context, no, it
No,
doesn't.
it doesn't.
All you had to do was like take the strap off. It was not that hard.
Final thoughts on this. I don't know. I feel like I've said everything I have to say about it. I think like everyone else said, there's some good like thoughts here that just...
Don't say thought. We're gonna think about is blue.
Yeah, it was just bogged down by the cringe. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say.
All I wrote for my final thoughts were, can we be done with this one, please?
I don't think I like the show, and if it doesn't move on, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I am somewhat morbidly curious on what the final 9 episodes would be like. I'm kind of like, what kind of drenches of the bottomless trench of culture in quotation marks will we reach?
Yeah, like
But I don't. But is that enough for me to continue watching it? Probably not. No.
It's like, is this a train wreck you can't look away from?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
no, I can look away. I just want to know if anybody died before getting to the hospital. I used all 3 lines to write, what the fuck? I did like the big dude's boosters in his butt. I thought that was funny. I also really loved Pink driving around in her Power Wheel. And the one thing I'll give this show credit for is it kind of pushes the point, which is one of my core beliefs, that everybody is a nerd for something. Just whether or not society thinks the thing you're nerdy over is cringe.
Oh, like car guy.
Yeah, like car guy. Like, I went to a big crafts fair.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, these people are weebs, but for woodworking. That's their thing. Like, everyone's a nerd.
I think what you're looking for is everyone has a hobby.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody good on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's move
No,
on.
so
Yeah.
bad.
Granbelm.
Nothing good.
Granbelm. The last contender left,
Lem.
the locked and loaded thing. Belm. Blam.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Lem.
Blame.
So, we got to continue on from where we left off last time with the mecha fight thing going on. It's only happening once a month. We got to go around the regular world a little bit with our two main characters, got to learn a little bit about magic, got to learn a little bit about the history of what was going on here and what was happening, and then we got right back into fighting as soon as we got past all the character drama and other things and the interconnected stories and interpersonal relationships that are probably going to play a big factor in the big beat-em-up bot brawls that are about to go down on the full moon. Is that everybody good? Did I miss anything?
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I think I'm leading us into plot. So we got an explanation of what's going on and some of the reasons for it. I like that. We met some of the extended cast. I like that. We began learning about more of the individual collective stakes for the battles. Also how they all tie together in that. It's like, genuinely, because I think when I saw this the last time we did this, I was a meh. I was like, this is so, I don't care. I care a lot more now, like from these two episodes. So I'm a full yay on plot.
I am still very much meh on this. I find the show boring. There's a lot of standing around and talking until they finally start fighting in the end. But the rest of the show, they're pretty much standing around and giving me exposition or just talking about their lives. And I don't know, like I could take any screenshot of this show and I feel like it would be the same screenshot. Like, I feel like things were happening, but not really happening. Almost like, I don't know, it's just standing around talking. I'm also like not super invested in why they're having these battles or what is going on. Like, I think the battle is fun to watch once it happens, but I don't really care why it's happening. Like, it didn't feel like it gave me a reason to care. I don't know. I felt that it's an interesting idea that's executed in a very lackluster way. So I give it just like a meh.
So a couple things that I wrote down was I was almost sort of surprised that it kind of was like our adventure was almost over before it even started, sort of trope with Ernesta basically trying to tell Mangetsu, basically, no, you don't want to do this because you're not one of, like, the mage families. You're not a descendant. We don't really know who you are. You shouldn't really get involved. But Mangetsu was like, no, I really want to do it because I feel like this is something that I can do. And honestly, like, the whole don't become a magical girl was sort of like giving me the, you know, kind of like the Madoka Homura thing, even same thing with sort of the color scheme a little bit. Of like, you don't really want to do this. And then it was interesting sort of establishing like family ties and like character history and stuff like that, because that was a good bit of what the plot for episode 3 was sort of like introducing characters that we've sort of already met, and then Arminok's practice with White Lily for another part. And I don't know, like, yeah, it is a lot of standing around and talking, but I feel like this show is kind of sort of more establishing the characters and who they are at this point and kind of like getting that all set up, because I feel like it'll make what's to come maybe a bit more dramatic. I'm just guessing. But so far, I would say for plot, I am a light yay.
I'm kind of somewhere between all three of you, to tell you the truth. We did get more explanation. We did get more backstory. We did get more interpersonal dynamics between the two main characters. I can kind of see where Yen's coming from, because I wasn't completely sold either, but I was definitely more invested than I was in episode 1. So I'm kind of like a high meh to a light yay overall.
Every time something was mentioned, I was like, what? And Kozi would be like, yeah, they talked about this already. I have no recollection of any of this. There are so many characters. But hey, there are finally girls being magical, so that's something. Magic does exist outside of the Gundams.
So normally I don't really like when they do like a lore and info dump all in one go, but I feel like it was really justified in these 2 episodes. Like, it didn't feel out of place because Mangetsu doesn't know anything about this world or this battle. And it felt like we were learning about it at an actual, like, pace with her than, you know, we're just being expositioned to for no reason. Like, it makes sense that we're learning all of this all in one go because someone is trying to explain to Mangetsu, like, she is a dumb baby. So, like, I don't know. I really liked, there was a lot of plot happening, but it felt like it flowed. I don't know how to better describe that. So, I'm a light yay.
All right. Yin, why don't you tell us what you thought about the characters?
I thought they were okay. I thought Mangetsu was the strongest character. I think they did a good job of, like, making me sympathize with her in terms of, like, she feels invisible, she really wants to do something meaningful in her life, and I thought that was really good. Like, it was a good motivation for her to want to do these battles and be a magical girl. You know, she wants to have a purpose in life, and I thought that was good. So that was, like, the strongest part for me. I feel like otherwise they feel like very stereotypical magical girl tropes. Like Chibi mentioned earlier that they kind of look like Madoka and Homura, and they kind of have a similar, like, no, don't be a magical girl thing. And honestly, yeah, I felt like they were really just Madoka and Homura coded. And I don't know. I guess that's fine, but, like, I don't know. And I think overall, they do a good job at, like, showing each girl's motivation. Like, I liked seeing, like, the white-haired girl had, like, her sibling that's, like, under some kind of curse. And I'm like, okay, I'm interested in that. So, like, some of them were real highlights for me. I find that Anna girl who hates Ernesta very annoying. I feel like she's just a hater for no reason. And it's just, like, I just need to know if Ernesta actually did anything, or if it's just like, boo-hoo, my mom likes you better. I don't, like, it was so petty, and I just have to know if there's more to this backstory or if we're gonna see it. But I just found that whole thing kind of, I don't know, I found their whole dynamic kind of silly and just unnecessary. I felt confused about that girl who keeps saying she's an adult, and I don't know if any of you can explain that to me. Is she an adult in a child's
I think for whatever reason she is magically de-aged.
Yes.
Because
do we know why
I think she's...
No.
She is... It's not that she was de-aged. I think she just never aged.
Oh, so she's like...
just
stopped.
an adult stuck in her childhood body.
Okay, but we don't know why. Okay, I just
Vampire.
wanted to see if I missed
Probably
something.
because of
Calling
the
it
magic.
now. Vampire.
Okay, either way, I was very curious about that. But yeah, overall, I would say, like, I guess I'd give characters a light yay. I think there was more good than bad, but what I didn't like, I really didn't like. But I would still give it, like, a light yay.
Question. Would you have liked Momo from Demon Girl if she looked like Ernesta?
I think that would be a better design for her, yes.
Okay.
I will definitely agree with, like, the characterization for Mangetsu with Yin. I like that she wants to have this power and to, like, do magic and, like, fight in this thing because she wants to be able to do something because she's never really felt good or seen or, like, useful at anything. And I'm like, you know what? This kind of reminds me of something else. Didn't Madoka also say this at some point when she was like, well, I'm not really good at anything and I'm not very talented, so if I can help people...
Yeah, she is Madoka.
Didn't Madoka also say that?
I think so.
So I was like, I'm like, more parallels. Is this just Madoka and Magia Record with Gundam?
I think so.
Not that that's a bad thing. I love Madoka. You guys know this. And I love the characters. So, like, seeing this in, like, another thing isn't a bad thing for me. I just find it funny that they even use the same color palette for our two main girls instead of going for something else. But that's whatever. I like the fact that we got introduced to more of the girls. Anna, I'm like, and this, I'm not going to say what I wanted to say about her face because that is a production thing, but I found her to be like, stop being on the screen. But as far as, like, her relationship with Ernesta, I feel like it's probably going to be something along the lines of she surpassed her as far as like magical abilities are concerned, and Anna's jealous because in that way her mom took favor of her, or it's going to be something else really petty. But I feel like we'll get there eventually. It's just like, you know. And I was the one girl who is an adult stuck in her like childhood body. Is that fashion? That is now all I can think of when I see this character, and I immediately thought of Kozi, because I was like, that sounds like something that was said quite a bit in the past couple weeks.
Kozi, is it fashion?
Is that fashion? No, it's just stupidity.
But yeah, I thought it was real funny. I'm like, huh, the fact that that's said in this tournament, okay, very fun. Moving on. But yeah, so I think like there are some like interesting bits and bobs and pieces that we have for people that I feel like this could be very interesting, even though I do feel like some of them are carbon copies, but there are carbon copies that I like, so I'm not going to be too mad about it. So I'll give it like a light yay.
My thoughts are the same as Yen. So, yeah.
She's a simmer. That is a whole plumb bob. She plays The Sims. That's her crystal. I loved that. The friend that's stuck in a kid's body, she must have said something, because all I wrote down was, what a fucking mood. And I'm sure it was something about, like, I'm an adult, stop treating me like a kid.
I feel like last week we talked all about how we got carded for, like, and we just hated it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like the Spicy One's outfit. It's very flamenco and Bird of Paradise.
I think Mangetsu is really being shown as a doormat. When Anna comes on and she's like, Shingetsu is a demon, I'm like, Homura is a demon! Oh no! I do like that everyone's bringing up that adult in the kid's body. I think her name is Nene.
Yeah.
You think she whips?
I was like, like, oh shit.
Aging
she
myself.
actually was complaining in the first episode that she wasn't a kid like her sister. So, like, consistency. We love it. I really do like that they started really expanding and going into, like, everyone's motivations. Like, we weren't really just focusing on Shingetsu or Mangetsu. Like, everyone was kind of getting, like, a moment to shine in here. And when you have, like, 8+ characters to go through, I feel like that can really be a clusterfuck. But it didn't feel like it. And I do actually like kind of what they're setting up between Anna and Shingetsu, because I don't know, like, I didn't think they knew each other that well from the first episode, and then to, like, find out, like, oh no, they were actually friends. And I do want to point out, Anna very specifically said, ask her what she did when she was defending her family. So, like, I feel like that either implies she did something to Anna's family to save her own, or if she thinks of Anna's family like her own, which is, I think, more what they're leaning towards implying, that she let something bad happen to them because she couldn't protect them. So, like, I feel like the moments of characterization they had are, like, a really good setup, so I'm gonna yay here.
Can I just add real quick? I was reading Kozi's notes, but I could not read it. I thought she wrote down girl is a demon instead of girl is a doormat. And then they were like, that girl is a demon. I was like, how did you call that?
Oh, also, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but it really kind of feels like they're death flagging Mangetsu a lot. Like, just some of the stuff she says, like, I feel like it's normal stuff for a protagonist to say, but again, with how they're spreading everything out, it doesn't really feel like she's the quote-unquote protagonist of the show to me at this point.
Well, she is Monica, so she will die.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I feel like they're death flagging her. Just like a prediction if this goes on.
I don't know why. Okay, I know why everybody's saying Madoka, but you guys aren't seeing the Fate Stay Night influence here?
No.
Really? The first
don't
day
think
of the
I've
Holy
watched
Grail
it.
War, some dude randomly summons a servant and he's suddenly thrown into this thing, and then some like dark-haired girl has to explain the whole situation to him. And then you just start the
No.
fight.
People
Nah,
die
man.
when they are killed.
Exactly, and that's gonna happen. I am telling you, that is Madoka and Shiro right together into the same damn body. I'd normally knock points for taking so much of your plot and character motivations from Fate Stay Night, but I think it's done really well. Every character has a reason for fighting that's wholly their own, and it's compelling to boot, and I'm like, okay, awesome. And beyond that, like, we also have like these small moments of levity for the characters in that. Like, yeah, the fashion thing. That's kind of funny. She shows up and she's like, hello, I am this person. I'm going to be the cool character. And then immediately drops all of her books out of her backpack. I'm like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
that's fucking funny.
Beyond that, I had this written down in like my final thoughts, but again, I was using it as like a miscellaneous thing.
Mhm.
That bag specifically, that's called a rondoseru, and it is for preschool kids specifically in Japan.
I think they said that later. It's like, why didn't you tell me this was for children? I just
Yeah,
embarrassed
I mentioned that
myself.
immediately.
But
Like,
they didn't like specify it was the bag.
they said, I think they
No.
did specify the bag was for middle schoolers, but I guess that's also wrong. But that might have been like a subtitling issue. But yeah. I'm a yay here. I'm enjoying this so far, and I'm interested to see where these relationships are gonna start going. Let's hurry this the fuck up. So, who's next for world building? Chibi, let's go.
So we have stuff that they're going with. We're showed that they can manipulate magnetic fields. Robot body is a double for your own. That's fucking scary.
Wait, does that mean it's a stand?
Yeah.
Oh no. Anyway, well, also soul gems. Kind of like that. We're moving on. Also, losing magic makes your stone stop glowing. Okay, we got some interesting things going. I will say it's very light on the world building, but also we're kind of expanding it, and also they explain a lot of things, but it's kind of a jumble. So I'm gonna give it a light yay because that was a lot.
Yeah, we're slowly learning more about the world and how it works and the rules of the game and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely interesting and it keeps you wanting to know more. So yeah, I think it does its job well. Light yay.
I did not write anything down for world building. I think I was too busy, like, trying to process everything they were throwing at us.
Fair.
So, one of my biggest things is, like, they went out of their way in episode 1 to specify, like, oh, we are all transported to this magical part of the world from, like, all over in different parts of the world. And that's even reflected in, like, names and stuff. Because, like, you have Anna and then Shingetsu, whose middle name is Ernesta. They were in Germany. Nene is based off of her Armanox. She's from China.
I thought they said Hong Kong?
That is in China.
Hong
Or
Kong.
are her sisters
Yeah.
in Hong Kong?
Her sisters are in Hong Kong. I don't know if that's where she's from.
So, like, they've gone out of their way to show that, but now everyone's in Japan for some reason.
And, like, at the same
Ooh.
school.
Again,
Yeah.
Holy Grail War only happens in that one city in Japan, despite the fact that everybody comes from all over.
But why are they in the same school?
Because they're all in the same town. There's only one school in town, my guy.
But, I mean, I feel like for these additional 2 episodes, we've established what's going on in the fights, why the fights are happening, what people are hoping to change the world out, like, what they're hoping to, like, shape the world as if they win, like, the motivations behind everyone and why they're participating. We have consequences to losing the fight. We have, like, magic outside of that realm, just, like, actual magic. So, like, I feel like we got a lot that maybe kind of feels just more plot relevant, but, like, it established, like, the whole background for the show within these 2 episodes. And I feel like going forward, it's gonna have less to do with, like, establishing stuff in the world and more how characters shape the world going forward. Like, how their actions affect it. So I'm a yay there as well.
Everything you just said, but on top of that, I'd also like to point out the things that we're learning about, like the magic system and all the stuff that's going on there. We're also seeing how it affects these people in the world itself. The interpersonal drama stuff that's going on between Ernesta and what's-her-face and the red one, this is purely a result of the lore that we are learning about. The only reason these two are beefing is because of magic. But we're also learning about the magic. We're learning all about this stuff. I think this is good stuff. This is good world building. I like it. It's a yay.
I would go with a meh. I think the world itself is kind of interesting, but I do feel like they lore dumped way too much. I feel like I didn't want to know everything about the world in the first 2 episodes. I think it's just too much to take in. And they're just, once again, just telling me most of it. Like, I would like to see things, but I feel like it's a very tell, not show kind of series, and I'm just not a fan of that kind of world building. So I think the concepts are good, but I don't like the way they were presented, so I'm going to give it a meh.
Is everyone right?
Oh, yeah. Envy, go to production.
It looks pretty. Yay.
It does look pretty. My one note was, is this pod racing?
Now this is pod racing.
But they're all flying against the wall.
Just a note for everybody, it's almost midnight that we're recording this. So like if we're getting short on stuff, this is why.
It's also been 3 hours for us. I'm sure cut down it's gonna be less.
Yeah.
I really like the music, like especially the differing like themes for the separate characters. Like the music is just so like soft and like ethereal, which I feel like goes really well with a magical girl theme. The white-haired girls, I really, really enjoyed her little theme thing when she finally got like her Armanox and everything. It is very pretty. Overall, like, it is a well-produced show, and I think anyone would be hard-pressed to argue it wasn't. So I'm a yay.
I'll argue that it wasn't. No. I'm not a huge fan of the mecha designs, but they are growing on me a little bit. I like the most recent one that we got to see, the white-hair girls one that's actually controlled, I think, by, like, the string instrument. That's interesting. This could be very cool. Animation solid. I think some of it's a little bit moe generic, which I'm not always a fan of, but it's nice. But the characters are each distinct, and I think it complements their characterization in a big way. So I'm going to say yay. Yay for production.
I think the animation looks really nice. I really like their magical girl outfits. I think they're really well designed and pretty. I think the music is good. I think everyone's like character design is well thought out and really represents their character well. I think the mechs are hit or miss for me. I really like the white hair girl's mech. I think it reflected her design really well and her character well. But I don't really like Ernesta's mech. I feel like it has nothing to do with her design or her character. And a couple of the other ones I just feel meh about. But like overall, this is like a really good looking show, and I would give it a yay on production.
I'm also giving it a yay on production. It looks cool, it sounds nice, and yeah.
Cool. Cece, take us into final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Is that fashion? Just stupidity.
Just for the audience at home, that is in reference to Ernesta. I really like that there were like these, because I feel like it was such a plot heavy and like serious kind of 2 episodes. I really liked the startling moments of comedy that they threw in there, like the is that fashion? No, it's just stupidity. Or when Mangetsu is feeding Shingetsu, she's like, what do you think? It's brown.
Yeah.
And like the whole sequence with the Rondoseru bag, like I feel like that really humanized a lot of it, so I had fun with it.
Yeah, I was very meh on the first episode of this, where I was like, I don't really see myself enjoying this very much, and I kind of completely turned around for these 2 episodes. I got a lot more of what I was looking for. I'm invested in the characters and the plot now, and I'm actually looking forward to the action, interpersonal drama, and everything else that they're setting up. I was honestly really impressed, and maybe that's a result of the fact that I watched Magical Destroyers right before this, but it doesn't matter, because I'm a full yay.
I actually am on the opposite end, where I continue to feel meh about this show. I think it's just a little bit slow for me. I don't really like the pacing, and I don't really like how much of exposition there is. I think it looks really nice though. Like, it's a very pretty show to watch, and I think they did a good job with that. I think it is really well produced, but that was the main highlight for me, along with like some of the character motivations. Like, some of the characters were really strong, but I think overall I found the plot pretty dull. I would just give it a meh.
I think the show is very pretty. It sounds nice. I'm enjoying the plot so far. Characters are very reminiscent of some characters from another show that I really like.
Fate's Day Night.
And I'm not mad about it, but I find it kind of funny that it's here. Overall, I give this a light yay.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is a short watch if you want to binge it. It's like 12 episodes, so if it passes the 3-episode rule for you, or if you're mildly curious, I'd say, what's the worst that could happen? Actually, I take that back. That could be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't. We know things can turn really fast.
Yeah, never mind. But it's alright for me. It's like a light yay to Matt for final thoughts.
All right, cool. Let's get to voting. Kozi, who gets your yay for plot?
Blem.
Blim? Yeah, I'm also a blim.
I wasn't nuts about either of these in terms of plot, but I really didn't like Magical Destroyers one, whereas
Granbelm.
However you say it, I just felt more like neutral towards and a little bit bored, so I'm gonna give it to Granbelm.
I will also give it to Granbelm.
I'm going to save you some time in the editing room, Al. I'm Granbelm for all 5
Yeah,
categories.
could we just sweep this? Because I think we're all going to
Okay,
agree.
question. Is anyone not Granbelm for any of the categories?
Yes.
Kozi.
Oh.
Oh, wait, production. I would be the other one, actually.
Production, yeah.
I agree with Kozi.
No, I'm Granbelm on that. So we have, just to be fair. All right, let's talk production then. I'll lead us off because I'm first now because we skipped so many things.
Okay.
I'm Granbelm for production.
Okay, I am actually Magical Girl Destroyers for production.
It's not Magical Girl Destroyers, it's just
Is
Magical
it just
Destroyers.
Magical Destroyers?
Magical Girl
Yeah.
Destroyers is Magical Girl Raising Project.
Magical Girl Destroyers is the actual hentai version of this.
Oh, wait, what? Is
Oh,
that
please
true?
tell me that's a joke.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay. I kind of believed it, though, which tells you a lot about this show.
Yeah.
Wow. For production, I'm also going with Granbelm.
Yeah, Granbelm for production.
Yeah, Blem.
Blame.
Granbelm.
Destroyers had great production, but it's not worth it.
Yeah, so I said Destroyers here just purely because they're both really well-produced shows, but I feel like Granbelm it's just a well-produced show. It doesn't do anything, like, extraordinary, whereas Magical Destroyers, it had, like, out-of-the-box stuff. It was, like, doing more with what it had. It's still a really shitty inside, but, like, man, they really just put all the fucking bells and whistles on it.
Yeah, I agree.
That is a fair assessment. But still, Granbelm sweeps the entire fucking thing, and they are the locked and loaded champion. They will go into the Elite 8, where they will face Revolutionary Girl Utena when we come back around to these categories, or this section of the thing again. Shall we talk next week? Because we're going back to Theater Kid Energy and Sup Bra. Are we ready for some of that shit?
I just realized Magical Destroyers is in Locked and Loaded, and I really don't like that anymore.
Yeah. So next week, Princess Tutu versus Magical Do-Re Mi, and Shugo Chara versus Cute High Earth Defense Club Love. Any other thoughts before we leave? I'd like to leave.
I'd like to leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
See ya. Hey, hold, hang on. How's the scarf going?
Scarf is fine.
Scarf's fine. Just fine. Aren't you happy
it's
about
fine.
the scarf?
I'm happy about going to bed at this point.
All right, let's go to bed. You go to bed too. Get some rest. Don't forget to drink some water. Like and subscribe. Do all the things that are very good for you, like liking and subscribing and watching all of our videos. It's very healthy for you. All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Gobbo.
Go.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!